Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast. I'm your host today, Daren Mcclimans, and we are here for another episode. Here, joined, like always, Connor/Exit over here. Connor, how's it going?
What's up? Going pretty good. How's it going with you?
I am good. We are back with another one. Yeah, I've been very excited for this one all week because you've been joining us these last couple weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. But I was like, let's just do like a one-on-one kind of conversation, just to kind of bring you in, and we can talk a little bit about kind of how we're feeling about it. And it's been kind of a crazy couple weeks, or I guess crazy couple weeks for like news and things that have come out. How have you been feeling? How have you been doing?
There's been a lot. It's been a little overwhelming because it feels like every day we're getting 3 or 4 big things. It's kind of hard to keep track of it all. Like, we're getting loads of little bits of Superman and Lois, hints of like episode titles, and now that they're filming a lot of this stuff with Daredevil and Marvel. I'm feeling good, especially since it's going to be kind of a slow year for both DC and Marvel, like the MCU Marvel stuff. I feel like it's good that we're getting a lot of news now for that.
100%. And I've been really excited for this topic because I thought it'd be really fun to kind of look at everything that's kind of coming out, have it all in front of us, be like, okay, what's going to be the best? What's going to be the worst? And I think it's going to be a very unique year because, again, we don't have a lot of MCU stuff. DCU or DCEU is done. We're not going to start the DCU until the end of this year. Yeah. So not a lot of those stuff. But I feel like there's a couple of these side stuff where it's like, oh wait, this could actually be really cool. Or like this is different than what we normally get. So I'm going to be very interested to kind of hop into all of that. But we're just going to be jumping in because, again, we have a lot to talk about today. So we're going to be jumping into our question of the week. Now, I think I've actually asked you this question previously, and I've always found it very interesting. Would you rather a show of very high quality get canceled before its time, or a show with a natural or a show run its course, but it has a bad ending? This is always something that's been very interesting to me. So a really good show get canceled, or not a good show that kind of, wavers off the end, or maybe it goes bad after a certain point. Which one would you ultimately like if you had a choice for like a show?
This is kind of, I'm not sure. I feel like it would depend for me on if the people making the show have a plan for it, because like plans obviously change, but I feel like if they have a plan, even if the ending of said plan isn't something that I would like, I still would like them to finish the show on their terms, even if it's not a great ending. But like, I mean, that changes a lot. Like, you get something like Supernatural that has a practically perfect first 5 seasons, and it feels like if it ended there, it would go down as one of the best shows of all time, in my opinion. And then they kept going after that, but it was still the same people making it. They just kept going anyway, and it got up and down. But if it ended where it did, it would have been one of the best shows of all time. Similar feeling to like Fear the Walking Dead. I think the first 3 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead are some of the best stuff in the Walking Dead universe. And they had a plan for 7 seasons. The show never got cancelled, but the showrunner left after season 3, which meant the plan changed and they never went the same direction. So I don't know. I feel like in general though, I would never say I want a show to get cancelled that doesn't have a natural conclusion.
Sure.
But if a high quality show ends early, like say Rome or Deadwood, where they end 2 or 3 seasons in, but they never get to finish their story, but it's a really high quality show. Like, you can't say for sure Rome went down as one of the best shows of all time if it kept going for 5 seasons and those later seasons were bad. Whereas now it's got 2 seasons that are amazing and people love. I would say I would prefer a show to have a natural conclusion.
Okay, that's fair. And I think I mostly agree. I think this whole conversation in my head kind of started when The Flash was kind of heading towards its end. And I wasn't too happy with how the Flash ended. And then I looked at a show like Stargirl that was canceled. It was like, but those first 3 seasons are really, really, really good and some of the
Yeah.
best of all these shows. And then I
Yeah.
look at like, what if they were all canceled after 3 seasons? Like Flash season 1, 2, 3, Arrow season 1, 2, 3, you know, Legend season 1, 2, 3. Like it is like, maybe these shows would have had a better rep if they did just end after those first 3 seasons. So
that's definitely true.
It is
They probably would
definitely-
have a better reputation. I feel like in a general
100%.
public sense.
They definitely would have. They definitely would have. And also like when I look at like the best shows of all time, I look at them and recently like Better Call Saul was like Better Call Saul is the only show that's ran that long that I think didn't really have like a huge dip in quality that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like 6 seasons without a dip is very impressive. I look at all
Yeah.
my top shows, your Avatar, your Barry, your Breaking Bad. They're all like 3 to 5 season shows. So I don't know, maybe that's just like the secret is like only aim for 3 to 5, and then if you can get there, you have a perfect show, and then you win.
Yeah.
I guess.
Better Call Saul. With Better Call Saul, like I think it got better. Like I think it
did.
genuinely just got better the more it went on.
Yeah, I think season 6 was one of, if not my favorite seasons, which is so impressive. Like that is
for
sure. Truly, truly so impressive. But already we're gonna be moving on to some of our news stories this week. Again, we have a lot to talk about today, so I am very, very already we're going to be jumping into, so this news came out just a little while ago, just over like 2 or 3 hours ago by this point. So a Wizards of Waverly Place sequel series is in the works over at Disney Channel. Now this is a show, this was as a child, this was one of my all-time favorite series. This was one of, like, as a kid, this really was high up the ranks of Disney Channel shows and shows I was just obsessed with. Was this a show that you had watched as a kid, or watched growing up even?
Yeah, I watched all of it when it was coming out as a kid, and then the first movie, and then didn't see anything after that. It was never my favorite of them. I kind of was into more like Sweet Life or something like that, but it was definitely one that I watched and I enjoyed, and I watched it. Can't say for sure I'd watch a sequel series if it came out.
Interesting.
Probably wouldn't revisit it either, like revisit the old stuff either. But yeah, no, I've seen it and I thought it was good.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I just remember when the show had ended, I was like, this isn't going to stay gone for long. Like, there's so much we can do in this world. And I was right back then, because like a few weeks later, they made like a follow-up movie to it. I was like, okay, it's back. And after that, I was like, all right, it's going to come back again, and they're going to do more with it. And as she got more popular, as she got like became this absolute like mega star, I was like, all right, maybe it's not going to happen. But it's officially happening over at Disney Channel, which I always thought it was going to be Disney Plus. Like I always thought Disney Plus would have been a much better home for it. I love the idea of maybe a little bit more budget, maybe a little bit, some better special effects, maybe even like a darker tone to it, like the iCarly thing that had just got canceled. What I really appreciated what they did is like, all right, we know half of our fans are now in their 30s and like late, 20s and 30s. They're not going to be wanting to watch Disney Channel like antics. So we're going to age it up with them. But this is Disney Channel, so it seems like maybe they're not going in that direction. But yeah, I'm going to find this very interesting, because apparently there's a focus on Justin this time around. He got rid of his powers now. He has 2 kids. And now he's going to be training up a new wizard, to do all this stuff like his father did in the original show, which I think is a very fun premise for a show like this, and bringing on that like legacy. I was always going to be curious, when they brought it back, if it would be a character that we knew, if it would be a new family, which you could have totally have also done, just like a new set of kids altogether. But I think having that pool with him is also just, I think it's very smart. I always thought Justin was like the black sheep of the family. Like I always thought he was the one that got the least amount of love, which was on purpose, right? Because, he was always against like Alex, and like, yeah, you weren't really supposed to like him, but he was always my favorite growing up. So I was like, so this kind of makes me very happy. Apparently the rest of the cast didn't even know this was happening. I saw like someone
That's
like
wild.
the dad in the show who currently runs a podcast
I was
for
gonna say,
the series. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like he posts on social media, he's like, reboot what? Like he had no idea this was happening. And apparently if it gets picked up for a full series, they will invite everyone else back, which is very exciting, which makes sense, which I feel like that's what most of these shows type do, where like they have their status quo, but like every other episode or so they'll bring back this character from the past, or this one or this one. So I assume this will be no different. Do you have any kind of final thoughts on this at all, or
mainly just like, I'm surprised they would be putting it on Disney Channel, because that's a gamble in terms of hoping there's an audience for it there, because you would think that the main audience for a show like this would be people coming back who were fans of it before, so you would think Disney Plus would be a more natural place for them to see it, whereas they'll have to rely on a new audience, I guess, if it's on Disney Channel for the most part.
Well, they are putting it on both, but it seems like it's going to be like a Disney Channel original, and then it airs on Disney Plus the next day or something like that.
Okay, interesting.
Which, again, I'm going to be very curious how it does, and if it does go for like a dark, because I kind of think Disney Channel's on its way out. Like it really does feel like, I don't know if you've been keeping up on any of their stuff. Like there's just not a lot going on over there. It seems like they're really focusing on Disney Plus over. The Disney Channel. So that was a bit of a shock to me. I also like that they are producing the show as well. Like she's in charge of the show. She's doing a lot of this kind of stuff. So she is involved in the show, and Alex is coming back in the first episode as well.
Oh, cool.
So that makes me happy. Like at least they're involved, and it seems like she's been heading more on like the TV side of things as well. Like not that she's not doing music. 100%. So yeah, this is very exciting for me. I'll be honest, I'm very hyped for this. I will definitely be watching it when it comes out. I just hope it's good. Like again, with them both coming back to like, do the stuff behind the scenes with it, it makes me, positive about it, that they're not just going to like, because the whole cast always seemed very very positive about the show, and it has a deep love. I haven't watched all the podcasts, but I did watch some of them where like she had come in and she was like, hey, this meant a lot to me, and it turned me into who I am now. So it seemed like she still has a lot of love for the show. So I'll be very, very curious.
Cool.
Alrighty, we're gonna be moving on to our next one here. The Emmys was this week. No, I haven't really kept up with the Emmys. I'm not like outside of the Oscars, I don't keep up with like a lot of the like award shows that end up going on.
It's pretty valid. So many.
But like there's a lot. I always forget how many there are. Like especially it's that time of year where like every other day there's another one. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot the Golden Globes were even a thing.
Yeah.
So all these going down. So this was something that you kind of wanted to bring up and talk about. What were your kind of thoughts on like this year's Emmys awards?
I'm kind of the same, where it's like the Emmys is the one I always look out for, because I'm a big TV person, so it's always one that I'm like, a lot of my focus for awards, like I would be more interested in what things are getting nominated for Emmys than what things are getting nominated for Oscars, because I'm more of a TV person. But it's also hard for me to keep up with all the award shows, because like being from Ireland, it's like every Sunday night for 5 or 6 weeks straight, I'm coming back onto Twitter on Monday morning, and there's all the awards. There was one last night at this, and I'm like, what one is it now? Like, what American award show is it this time? But no, I mean, I completely understand Succession and The Bear winning everything that they won. I think Succession and The Bear are both great shows, but it is disappointing me as somebody who slightly prefers Better Call Saul over Succession and slightly prefers Barry over The Bear, for Barry and Better Call Saul to be locked out of everything because Succession and the Bear for Succession, The Bear to just lock Better Call Saul and Barry out of everything. And then, I mean, the one that I was most annoyed about, though, was Jennifer Coolidge winning for The White Lotus over Rhea Seehorn winning for Kim Wexler, because I just thought Rhea Seehorn put on one of the best performances I've ever seen in anything in the final few episodes of Better Call Saul. Like her breakdown on the bus in Waterworks.
It's so good. Yeah.
I would say that is the best acted scene in the entire Breaking Bad universe. And for her not to win an Emmy for that, or for her not to even get noticed at all for it outside of a couple nominations the last few years, is insane. I would love Bob Odenkirk to win for Better Call Saul, but I mean, I understand that there was a lot of competition in those lead roles.
There's been a lot of good TV.
Years, like just so much. Like we're easily in one of the best eras for TV. We are in the best era for TV of all time. So for there to be so much competition definitely makes a lot of shows get left out that should be acknowledged. But it's like, it's interesting as well, because the Emmys sometimes feels quite picky in what it chooses. It feels like whatever it decides is a good show, that for the length of when that show runs, that show is always going to be the forefront of the Emmys. Like, for example, they decided a few years ago Succession was going to be their show. So
show. Yeah.
Succession was going to win Emmys for the next few years, no matter what was the competition, sort of thing. It's like The Sopranos was winning loads of stuff when it came out, but that meant The Wire wasn't winning anything because the Emmys decided that Sopranos was going to win over The Wire, even though I think The Wire is a little better. But it's like, it's a lot of that sort of stuff with it, and I get it. Like, I get these shows are popular. The Bear and Succession are extremely popular.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul, you could have thrown them some bones, especially since it's its final season.
The fact that they didn't win anything to me is insane. Like, throughout its run, that is insane. I don't know if you've seen the video of like someone had put together all of like his reactions of him not winning over the years. Yeah. I was like, oh, that really sucks, man. And he killed that character.
He almost died in filming this year. For last year.
And not only like he committed so much of his life to like that role, like what, 4 seasons of Breaking Bad, and then went on to do 6 seasons of Better Call Saul. That's 10 plus years of your life.
2010 until 2022.
That is absurd.
That character, like, that's insane. And then he gave it his all every time. Like, there was no 100%. Downgrades. It was great the whole time.
And I feel bad for him because like he went on to do a new show and it got canceled instantly.
Oh like, Mr.
Lucky something. Lucky Hank. Yeah. I haven't seen it. Yeah. Was it good?
It was. Bob was the best part of it.
I bet. He's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think these award shows are super weird. Like I don't know if it was like the Emmys or if it was like the Golden Globes or whatever, but like it come out that like some people didn't even watch some of them. Like the House of the Dragon was like, oh, I'm not watching that shit. It's like how you going to vote on which is the best if you haven't seen them all? Like that's absurd to me.
That's another thing I feel like 100% about the Emmys is that there are so many great shows from the last few years that have not been acknowledged at all, because I feel like the people voting on the Emmys didn't watch them or don't really know the shows exist. Like Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I think that is the best looking show on television at the moment by a long shot. That's not really gotten acknowledged by any of the awards shows, and it's I feel like because the awards concentrate on HBO, and that's
Apple TV,
HBO, Apple TV, Hulu. Those are like where it focuses. Anything outside of that, like Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. Well, I mean, Andor did get a nomination, but anything really outside of that doesn't really get acknowledged a whole lot.
That's always that's always been my thing, because I have people like over the years, people like, whoa, like what if Superman Lois won something? And I was like, as much as we love that show, Superman Lois would never win at like a big award show like that. As good as it is, as much as I think Betsy this last year honestly could have. Like I think if she was
fantastic.
It like if that was in like the combo they had seen it, I think that she deserved to win something, and I think she did she actually did win an award this year for her performance in last season. But like she was so good, and Tyler's always so good. Like, but like it's CW, so of course nothing over there is going to even get in the combo. Which
exactly, Bitsy is she's easily the best. She puts out the best acting on Superman Lois. I feel like
she's amazing.
I think everybody on that show is good, but I feel like she's on just another level all the time. It's crazy.
100%. And like that's the one I never like. You know, there's a lot of people that end up going after her if it's, you know, people didn't like her in the Arrowverse. So if it is like the Snyder people that are like, did not Amy at, you know, all those people. Yeah. And I was like, she's the one I don't get why people are like, she has stale acting. I was like, have you seen any of Superman Lois? Like what are you backing that up with? Because I've never seen stale acting from her.
I've heard, I haven't seen Grimm, but I've heard, I remember when she first got cast, a lot of people were annoyed because they didn't like her character in Grimm. But I don't think that's fair to her, because in my opinion, she's showcasing in the Arrowverse that and Superman Lois. I always forget Superman Lois is in the Arrowverse, but like I feel like she showcased in Elseworlds and Crisis, and then in Superman and Lois that like she's got it. Like she's great.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Alrighty, moving on here, and this is a big one. It feels like this has been a kind of a conversation for the last 3 weeks as you've been here. Foggy and Karen are officially set to return in Daredevil Born Again. Week 1 was like, okay, we think this thing is canon. Last week was like, oh, this is officially canon. This week feels like, oh yeah, there's no denying it whatsoever. We're so back. We're so here.
Never been more back.
I know, I'm so hyped, and I think you're a much bigger like Daredevil fan than me. It's like what a journey this has been Like these last, let's just say 5 years with like Daredevil as a whole has been one of the most insane journeys I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the night Daredevil got canceled. We kind of been waiting for it because Iron Fist and Luke Cage had already been canceled, and we were like, that's not a good sign. But
Yeah.
I remember like there was still a lot of us being like, Daredevil's not going to be canceled. It's not just one of Netflix's like most popular shows. Everybody loves it. You barely ever hear anybody talk bad about it. And then the cancellation thing came out, and it was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
seriously? They'll do that to that show? But I mean, I think Foggy and Karen going back, it was a no-brainer because I don't think a Daredevil or a Daredevil revival, because I guess it's not reboot anymore, but I don't think another Daredevil show could be as good without these versions of Foggy and Karen, because they are the heart of the original, in my opinion. Like, they carry the more emotional parts of the original. Like, you can't really do another Daredevil show with Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, with Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, without having these versions of Foggy and Karen, because they're so crucial and so important to the kind of show that the original was. And I think, you not having them in a new Daredevil show would make it like 50% less interesting.
100%. And I found it very interesting because Vincent had come out and kind of said, like, gave us a little bit of like info on that all, and like what the process was. Apparently it wasn't going to be canon. Like they didn't have, like, they said it wasn't until the reshoot, like them being like, this doesn't work. What are we doing with the show? People aren't going to like the show. That they're like, y'all, we have to make this canon. It has to be canon by this point. And listen, like, I understand the mindset if you didn't want to bring back everything from the shows, right? That was 13 seasons of stuff. If you didn't want to make it all canon, I get that. But I think distancing yourself so drastically much from what they did, killing off your two main characters, is insane to me. Like, I feel like you're just asking for people to hate what you did.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't understand, especially with, and we talked about this a little while ago, but like Echo just came out, and I thought, I think, thoughts on the show aside, if you either like the show, if you don't like the show, I think they honored those shows so well, and it felt like it was in that world. Like, it felt like they had said they made it thinking that it was canon to Daredevil, and then turn around with a different thing and be like, yeah, we're gonna kill off the two most popular characters. Like, what? That's insane to me.
Like, imagine Echo comes out with clearly the Netflix version of Daredevil, and then Daredevil Born Again comes out, where it's a completely different show, where Matt's not Daredevil for the first 5 or 6 episodes or whatever it was. He's got like a different everything. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, like, were they expecting people to just watch Daredevil Born Again and straight away be okay with it? Like, be okay with the fact it's clearly a different version of the character? I don't know.
Yeah, I had said for a while, like, I think there was a couple really, really important MCU projects to get right. And I think Daredevil was one of them. I think Daredevil, I said Deadpool, I said Black Panther 2, and I said Avengers. Like, those were the 4 you needed to get right, or you are losing so many people. And Daredevil, like, there's already so much disfaith going into this project. Like, I don't know if they're going to get this right. And I was someone that, like, said, no, I think they're going to do well with this one. I think they got it. I think they know what stakes are at home. And apparently they did not. I was 100% wrong. They clearly did not. I'm also curious what the cast thought while this all was going down. Like, I had said previously that, like, Charlie and Vincent and John Berthal would have all just been like, no, I don't, like, this isn't right, Yeah. And I don't know. Like, I wonder if they were a part of maybe them scrapping it, being like, hey, this isn't working, Chiefs. I don't know what we're doing here.
It could have been like people like Charlie and Vincent, because I feel like Vincent's really vocal about this stuff.
Vincent loves this stuff.
Kind of like coming up to them being like, look, I get you're trying something new here, but this isn't gonna work at all with that audience. Like, they're gonna rip this to pieces. And it maybe even could have been when the leaks were coming out and people were like already talking about, whoa, this is insane. And they're like, we're 2 years from release and people are already ripping this to pieces. Like, that's not good. But also, I am happy that they're clearly understanding how important this show is to get right, because I feel like Marvel from 2 years ago wouldn't have course corrected this. They would have just let this play out, just, been like, we'll get the next project right. Maybe this one's a wash. We'll get the next one right. But no, clearly they care enough where they're like, we need to course correct this now. We need to fix this. We can't release this in this kind of way, which good for them.
Yeah, I think just Marvel as a studio, and maybe this is just like the bias I have and me hoping for the best in all cases, but like, it does to me very clear, like there's such a changing in management at Marvel currently. There's so much of the course correcting being like, okay, people don't like this and they don't like this and this isn't working, and I think usually Marvel does a good job about that. Like I think normally Kevin Feige does listen to the fans. The issue is they do so much like in advance, like they make 20 so projects at once and they don't have time to course correct because they're doing too much.
Which I feel like it's good now. That, I mean, it's not good, but I think that's one thing why a lot of these real world problems like COVID strikes, Jonathan Majors stuff, making their entire slate be delayed is maybe a good thing, because now they're able to rethink things rather than having 5 projects in the can and then getting these problems. You know, like pretty much their entire slate besides Deadpool 3 is on pause at the moment. And I think that's a good thing because it gives them time to really reevaluate where they're going for the future, quality control, fix things, bring in showrunners, all that sort of stuff.
100%. And I think this year's definitely like a pause in like the future plans. Like everything that's on the current docket, really everything besides Agatha and Echo are like either basically all kind of either like prequels or Elseworlds, or kind of off on their own. Like even Deadpool 3, like it is MCU now, but also I'm assuming most of it is set in the Fox world, and then we go over at the end, or at least that's kind of what I'm assuming.
Well. Maybe even end credit scene could be like the final jump into the MCU or something like that, with an entire film to wrap up, I guess, anything that was
the Fox. Yeah. 100%. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I am kind of sad though, like I really wish we could have got it right the first time, because we spent like a year and a half, 2 years filming, getting ready. And now we had to start over again. Like we would have got it this year. Like it would have come out this year. And
I genuinely remember a rumor that was like the first part of the show was supposed to come out winter 2024 or something like that, and then they were going to have the second half come out like summer 2025 or something. And now it's late 2025, maybe even early 2026. We're looking at crazy.
It sucks. It really does. And I think Echo kind of made that a bit harder as well, because it gave me that taste again of like Daredevil. Was like I want more. I really want more.
Because it's so good. That 2-minute scene with him in it, like you could just tell how much fun Charlie was having. Like it's like, then you guys showed up and screwed everything up. It's so good.
No, it was so good. Like that. I mean, we this past Monday we had talked about like Echo as a show. Did you end up liking the show? Like was this an experience that you enjoyed?
I felt it was a mixed bag, but overall I did like it. I think episodes 1 and episodes 3 were really good. I thought that they were like the higher tier of what Disney Plus usually puts out. I thought episodes 2 and 4 weren't as good, but they were still solid. I did not like the final at all. But I think the problems with the final for me, I think, are more about how, to me, it felt like they ran out of material. Yeah, there's stuff missing, ran out of what they could 100%. Put together. And it just they had to rush to an ending that they didn't really get to yet, story-wise. But episodes 1 and 3 were really good. If the entire show was as good as episodes 1 and 3, it would be like on par with, I'd say, Miss Marvel or Falcon and Winter Soldier to me.
Sure. Yeah. I had spoken on here like previously. I really loved what was here. Like what was in the show itself, I loved. I just wanted more of that. Like you could tell so much was taken out, so much context of things we needed of like either certain characters like Bonnie. There was very clear, like there was more there, but it was all taken out. I loved the final episode, but so much leading into those moments were just missing that I think would have made it really good. Like I loved ultimately what we did with Kingpin in that final episode. Like I thought those scenes were really, really good. It needed more of that push to get, make it. Exactly. And it's because I think what's there. I think if this is like an 8-episode show and it had more there, it would be probably my favorite out of these. Like maybe outside of like Loki, because I do think it has really, really high highs. But I don't know. I personally really had like a good time with it. Like I would think about it because I do think there's I think like the MCU fandom as a whole, I think there's a real lack of like nuance when it comes to talking about these things. Like there's either. And I've had this with like the like Marvels and like Thor: Love and Thunder as well, where it's like this is either the worst thing ever made or it's a masterpiece, and it's like no, it's in the middle. There's some really, really good stuff and there's really, really bad stuff. So let's talk about those individual things without just being on one polarizing side of it. And that's a little frustrating at times. Like it's not just one or the other. But no, I did enjoy it. I would love a season 2 if it could get like a proper showrunner and like a proper pilot And like the first episode I thought was amazing, but also it's a very messy pilot. Like it's a
It
very
is.
like
It rushes through a
it's like
lot.
100%. And it's like, okay, we got pieces from Hawkeye, we got things from Daredevil, we got the Echo stuff, and it's all kind of jammed into one. As good as those scenes are, it's like, I think the pilot could have been a little bit better. But yeah, I personally had a really good time with that show. And again, I hope we see these guys again. Like, I loved all the side characters. Like, I thought
No,
they
I
were
was going
very
to say that.
charming.
I thought the side characters were really strong. They reminded me of kind of the side
Yeah,
characters in like Miss Marvel or something like that, where they really made the
sure.
show. Plus, I think for the pilot, I'm wondering if the reason we got so many flashbacks to Hawkeye was because they were missing scenes and they needed to put something in there to kind of clear things up. So they were like, we don't have a scene here because we didn't film it. We could put a Hawkeye
Sure.
flashback in and it does the same job. But like
Sure.
on top of that, with the like in terms of getting a second season, like they're calling Echo a limited series or whatever. I'm kind of worried because they came out and said that like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk could all get second seasons, and I was like, this is great news. Might not have loved Moon Knight, might not have loved She-Hulk, but second season are really good for this. And then they came out yesterday and say that now She-Hulk season 2 is off the table. So I'm like, are they just done with?
Yeah, she had said that like they ran out of money and she doesn't think they're getting another season, which I personally am very sad about.
Yeah, I think it would have improved it.
I 100%. I would love a season 2. I also get maybe why you like. I can understand Marvel being like, this got so much hate. It was very expensive. This was not chance another thing at that, and I can get that. But also I think season 2 would have been very good. I think it's like the one show that feels like it should have a series. Like it should have an ongoing thing. Like a lot of these other ones were like, hey, maybe that could be a movie or whatever. Like She-Hulk feels like it's a show to me.
Yeah,
and
it's got that setup and that kind of structure to it, where most episodes are kind of standalone-ish.
100%. I'm very curious kind of how these go, because I think there actually is going to be a very big dry spell of shows at some point. Like I know we have a bunch on the back burner, but I think like this is the first of like the new era of shows. And again, we're not talking maybe to 2026, maybe like. It's going to be a while till we even get to that point, and that's a little, like, worrying to me, but...
Wouldn't it be great if every year we could have had, like, a second season of some of these shows? Like, it'd be great if this year we were getting a season 2 of Miss Marvel and a season 2 of Moon Knight. Which, with Moon Knight, like, that end scene with Jake Lockley in the front of the limo, like, that felt like it was easily a setup for a second season.
Yeah.
And now we're almost 3 years on and nothing.
Moon Knight's weird because it's so standalone. You could just do it. Like, you can just film it right now. Like, it's not going... And I think we need... And actually, I think that's why I really loved Echo, because it was very standalone to me. Like, it felt... Like, yes, there's things from Hawkeye. Yes, there's things from Daredevil. But, like, instead of like, a lot of these are shows set in the MCU. And this was just a show in the MCU. Like, it's just on its own, on the side. It wasn't the end of the world. Like most of... Like, the worst that could have happened was 4 people died, right? Like, there wasn't large stakes in it. And I think we need a little bit more of that. Like, it's very like Daredevil and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where like there's not major consequences to the larger stuff. So
it felt like focused on Echo and her story rather than 100%. It being like needing to tie into the next big movie or something like that.
100%. Alrighty, next up on our docket today, Supergirl news. This was fun. This came out last week. And I was like, should I add this in the roster? Because we had a lot to talk about last week. I was like, I'll save it to next week. And there was also a lot this week. So but I wanted to pull this up, and I was very interested to kind of hear your thoughts. Now we have 3 actors kind of all in the conversation for Supergirl in the DCU. I'm pretty sure it's Superman Legacy, which is a very interesting thing to me. Like, I think that's very early for Supergirl.
I think I remember hearing that she's not for Superman Legacy, but she is for a project before Supergirl. That there'll be a project between Superman Legacy and Supergirl that Supergirl will appear in.
I wonder if it's Waller. I could see her appearing in Waller.
Oh, like maybe she's like kept captive somewhere, like as a I don't know, a contingency plan for Superman or something like that.
That'd be insane. Yeah. That'd be, or maybe Authority if they did it properly.
That could be interesting. This Supergirl would really fit in well with the Authority, actually, because they're going for the I think actually that's a really good shot. I didn't even think of that. That could work really well.
Yeah, 100%. But I straight off the bat, and I only really know. I mean, I guess I know 2 of these actresses.
I'm familiar with all of them, but not much.
Okay. When I was kind of gathering photos for all 3 of these like actresses, I was looking through them and I was like, all three of these would be great choices. Like I see Supergirl in every single one of these choices. Just the one I know by best is Meg, because obviously she was in the Winchester series. I knew her back from Disney Channel. She did your like, High School Musical and your Bunked and a lot of those type of shows.
And Supergirl in the DC in the Tomorrowverse.
100%, which is very cool. Like obviously that could be like your. I almost think it's a little like unfair for her, just because like I mean I've already been Supergirl. If you want to see what I've been working on, you could surely do that. I do really like Meg, because I think Meg has such a presence to her. Like everything I've seen her in, she has such a spotlight on her, and like she demands you to look at her and be the presence in like every scene she's in. Like I think Mary Winchester was always like a character like that, where she just stands out, and I thought that casting was really, really good. Out of these three though, which one are you kind of thinking like, I'm thinking I would choose this one over this one?
I mean, I think they're all great choices. I don't know if I have a pick over the other though of these three. Sure. This feels different to the Superman picks for me, where like there was a clear person that I was like, oh, I want them to be cast as Superman. Same. For this one, I think all three of these would work really well, and I could see all three of them work. Like Amelia, I know from Coda from a few years ago, the Oscar film, and Millie, I know from House of the Dragon. Yeah, which Coda was a really good film. I really liked it.
Oh, it was an amazing
movie. And then Amelia's great in House of the Dragon. So I think all of them, like, they would make really good picks. But I guess for Meg, we do know that she can do Supergirl based off of the Tomorrowverse.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something towards it. But honestly, for me, I feel like they might not use her for Supergirl based off of that. They might be like,
because she's already been Supergirl. Yeah.
She's Supergirl in the animated stuff already. We maybe don't want to cross over here a little bit. Sure. Let's choose one of the other ones.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And again, I think this again, like with Superman, and I'm with you. I was like I was shouting David when I first heard it, because I was like, oh yeah, that looks like Superman to me. Like across the room, I just see him over the other ones. Where all three of these, but like they also all give me different vibes.
They do as well. They feel like they are different versions of Supergirl, but all of them are still Supergirl.
I think I think Meg would be my choice, because I just think she would really kill that. But then I look at like Millie, and I was like, but for the version they're going for, I'm actually kind of leaning towards her, because I think she does give off that vibe of like the warrior princess, very jaded, kind of very, and then across from like David Corns, where I could see Millie and David Corns right next to each other. Yeah,
absolutely. I think no matter what though, whoever gets picked, I think the other two will get a role in the DCU.
That'd be cool.
Because it feels like Gunn is kind of aiming for that, where if people get this far into the casting process, he wants to use them somewhere. Because like Nicholas Hoult getting Lex because he didn't get Superman, sort of thing.
100%. Yeah, I'm really loving the like casting processes though. Like there really hasn't been a massive miss for me. Like the only one I've kind of been like, I thought like the Maximo like Maxwell Lord one was a bit weird, but also
that's the one I'm not crazy about still.
Like that's the one, but like also I also don't care, because it's Maxwell Lord. Like I
like Maxwell Lord. I've always liked the character.
I do too, but he's not one I'm going to give a fuss about, I guess.
No, that's like fair. That is fair.
Like it's Maxwell Lord. He like I feel like almost anyone could put on a suit and like have a smug face, and they could be Maxwell Lord in a way. So
that is fair.
I don't know. Like I there hasn't really been a truly miss for me, and maybe eventually there will be. I'm not sure, but I think James Gunn has always done a really good job at casting. Like all his Guardians movies were always perfectly casted. There's so much like controversy when it comes around to his casting choices and stuff like that, but like he hasn't missed. Like they've all been great.
No, that is true. That is really true. I think like I just in general have really loved how much of an event it feels like the DCU casting process is.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they're really trying to make it show in people's faces, look, these are your new versions of these characters. Like this is your new Supergirl, this is your new Superman, which I really like, because we haven't really gotten this kind of casting, this kind of open castingness for a franchise in a while. Like I guess in the MCU maybe when it was starting out, but I wasn't watching these films, or I wasn't really online when the MCU was starting out, so I can't remember what the casting process was like there. But for the DCEU for the early years, I can't remember it being this I can't remember it feeling this fun.
And like also I think there's a bit of like with Phase 4, there's a lot of like lesser known people kind of coming in. Like there's not like your Iron Man, your Captain Americas, and your stuff like that. The last one of this Gravitas was Blade. Like I remember that being kind of an event. Like him coming on stage and be like, "Your new Blade, everyone!" Like And Comic-Con's not that far away as well, so I could see Supergirl announced at a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I could even see a Batman announced at a Comic-Con. Like, I think
I think
that would be
I
really
think
cool.
they'll do that there. Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
really cool. I feel like for Marvel, the closest they have, like going forward, will be the Fantastic Four. But even then, like I'm happy with Pedro Pascal being Mr. Fantastic if that is what they go with. But it doesn't feel like they're making it a big deal that they're casting the Fantastic Four the way that they are with the DCU. Like it feels like they're just kind of glazing past the fact that, oh, by the way, Pedro Pascal is your new Mr. Fantastic. Like, okay.
I 100%. I really do think he's in. Like, it feels like that's pretty concrete, and it was just kind of like clearing out his schedule a little bit because he had exited another project, and they pushed back to Fantastic filming again. And it was like, okay, I think they're just getting ready for the perfect time for now. Because again, I think like a public announcement with all 4 cast members, I think that would do very well.
Yeah,
like, I think
absolutely.
having it feel like an event would. I think. Oops, what happened? I think they need stuff like that. I really do. I think they need those type of events of not knowing who's up next, and they need the like positive fan interaction with people.
Absolutely. Also, just side note, I'm kind of really, really, really excited to find out who the composers are for these films, because I think for both Superman and Supergirl, I think the soundtracks for those films need to be great. Like, you need a Superman score that's gonna stand beside John Williams and Hans Zimmer's scores. Like, I think I'm really excited to see who they go with for those.
Yeah, you're much on, like, I think you're much more on like the music side of it, but like I definitely agree. I think Superman is always very hard to top when you do have such like legacy. Like, I love the music from like Superman and Lois, but like there isn't much like iconicness to them. Like when you hear like you're like John Williams and your stuff like that. All right, looking into chat here really quick. Darth, chosen in the house. I hope Meg is Supergirl because it's perfect casting. I don't disagree. I really like it. But again, I think all these would be pretty perfect.
Yeah, for sure. Melissa Benoist is back. What? As Supergirl?
What? Whoa. Crazy.
Just announced here. Pipeline podcast exclusive.
What? I hope Alan Richardson is Batman. I really do. I hope that casting comes true. I talked about this on my past Monday stream about like I see why people like him as Batman. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's better, but like
though.
That's what I said. Bring it back as Aquaman.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be very funny though, going from like Aquaman to Hawk to Batman.
That's a crazy trajectory.
100%.
I love Alan Richardson though. I think he would make a great role in the DCU if they put him in one.
Oh yeah, I think he's gearing up for something because he's been getting huge. He's been getting huge. Yeah. Direct Chosen said, I don't know if you heard, but Daredevil Born Again is not 18 episodes anymore. So yeah, this had come out a little while ago that it's not. They said it's like not guaranteed to get 18, which is something I was wondering for a while because people were skipping. Oh, it's an 18 episode season, something. I was like, yeah, but they've also changed some things around, so I could see maybe. If they didn't want to do 18 episodes anymore, if they wanted, I would like a 13 episodes, especially if you're going back to,
I'd be on that.
Especially if this is kind of like a comeback from like the Netflix stuff. Now, if you're like, let's just follow the like formula they had, like let's go back to the basics, and especially, and I love the idea of like an 18 episode season, like that is hype to me. But also, I think for your first outing of this like magnitude of like having a showrunner and a pilot and a TV, like a TV Bible and all this stuff. 18, I think, even I would settle for a good 8 episode season.
No, I would as well.
Like just like that's so much like 8 50-minute episodes. That's a solid run for a season. I'm fine with that. I just hate your like 30-minute 6 episode seasons. Like that's kind of what bugs me.
Where the final is always shorter than the rest of them, even though it has more to wrap up than any of the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know if you're watching currently, but like I'm a little scared for Percy Jackson.
I didn't watch this week's episode, but I've seen the rest.
Okay, yeah, the last one was like 30 minutes as well, and I was like, we got 2 left, and we still got like a quarter of the book to go. Like I'm a little nervous.
Really? Is that much left?
I haven't read the book, but like, like just from I know the story, there's a lot of story left to do. And I was like,
I didn't know that. Damn.
I hope we're because I've really been enjoying the show. I've been having a good time with it. I just hope they can wrap it all up in a nice little way. All right, next thing here. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about this. So the actor who plays Argyle from Stranger Things is seemingly not returning for the final season of Stranger Things. Do you have any thoughts on this at all? This has been going around on my social medias a lot, and I was like, I don't know how to feel.
It does give me flashbacks to like leading up to Sex Education season 4, where we were like finding out just a lot of the smaller characters weren't coming back.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't really have too much of an opinion on this. Like, I liked Stranger Things season 4; I thought it was good, but I don't think Argyle was a big reason why I liked it.
Yeah, that was kind of my reaction because I was like, all right, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Argyle was my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, I think I remember looking back at all the characters from season 4 being like, yeah, he could have left. Like, he didn't need to be there. Like, he was kind of just your like Dustin type character where it's like they're there for fun. He doesn't have much like personality outside of just being high. And again, he's fun. Like, he's a fun like addition. It was fun. But I also think like when you look at where we left the season, and like he was really there last season because Jonathan was kind of like in like Cali this time around and needed a friend now that he was away from everyone else, and that's kind of who they gave him. Again, I thought that was completely fine, but how we set up the final season, now everyone's back together. They said there's going to be a much larger focus on those original like 7 kids, which I think is the right move. I 100% do. It was probably just a thing where they don't have room for him, right? They didn't have a spot for him. I would love if they gave him. What's that?
It's a big cast now.
It's a massive cast. That cast, like, they kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, the reason for that was because, like, these characters over here and some over here and some over here. And, you needed to split the cast. Like last season, especially, it was like 5 different shows, right? Just everyone in different spots. So I definitely get why he was there, but I don't know if I don't need him. Like, I'm not going to be like, where's Argyle, man? Like, where's he? Like, I don't think I will like be thinking about him. But again, I feel bad for the actor. Like, I always feel bad when you get cast in one of the biggest shows in the world and then you don't get called back. It probably is very frustrating and very sad.
No, genuinely, I do agree with that. Like, for me, character didn't really do a whole lot. I can see why he was in the show. Like, it made sense to bring in somebody to kind of fill in the characters on that side of the show, because you can't just have it be 1 or 2 characters on that side. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over the fact he's not coming back for the final season, because I feel like they've got enough to do. I feel like he might just be taking scenes away from characters who would desperately need scenes in the final season.
100%. Yeah, I don't have a massive issue with this or anything. I'm not gonna be upset by this, and I'm kind of nervous for the final season. Like there's a bunch of like controversies around the show currently that I was like, maybe it's best we're kind of wrapping it up now. What's that?
Whose actor is it? That's like super controversial.
Noah as a Will is super controversial right now. And then the actor that plays I forget his name, but like the conspiracy theorist guy, like he had come out yesterday and been like, yeah, I don't disagree with what he's saying. I was like, shut up. He's like, actually, I think he's valid. I was like, that's even worse than what he did. Like, what do you? And so I'm kind of thinking like maybe it's best we're wrapping it up now. Like we could wrap it up and sweep it on. Like, let's go.
So the show's been going since 2016, so it's almost 10 years, even though we only have 5 seasons. Like,
5 seasons and 10 years, insane. Like we've talked about like they're doing spin-off stuff like that, and I wonder if when they do spin-off, maybe they'll cast a little older this time around. Like maybe don't do a bunch of kids.
Yeah, that would be smart.
I don't know. I don't know. Alrighty, we're moving on to kind of our last kind of main topic here. Super Lois has officially begun filming its 4th and final season. And there's been kind of a bunch of stuff the last couple of weeks kind of surrounding about this. James Gunn went to Twitter being like, yay, celebrating their return. We have the titles for the first 4 episodes. I think I don't have them pulled up currently. How are you just feeling now that we're going into the final season? This is the last CW TV, kind of like CW DC show that we'll probably ever get. How are we kind of feeling overall?
Which actually, side note, while we're talking about CW and ending of an era, I watched the first episode of Wildcards. That CW show. I watched it the weekend, and my first thought was, this is everything most of the CW shows have been for the past 10 years, so I don't know why they were all cancelled, why they couldn't just continue one or two of them instead of this. I don't know. Anyway, but for Superman Lois, I'm excited. I'm a little worried still at the fact that so many cast kind of aren't going to be in it much, and the budget getting so cut, and the writers' room being kind of split in half. But I think the fact they have a 10-episode final season that they're going into it, knowing it's final season, that Lex is going to be kind of around for the entire thing, I think it gives them a lot of room to do a really cool Superman season. Plus, it's going to be really interesting that the Flash season 9 ended, or was it a month before the Flash movie came out? And now we're looking at Superman Lois season 4 probably ending like within half a year of when Superman Legacy comes out.
Yeah.
Depending on when Superman Lois season 4 debuts, I'm probably thinking it's going to debut summerish. And then we're looking like it ends probably towards the end of this year, and then Superman Legacy comes out middle of next year. So it's pretty cool how that worked out.
Yeah, I would love, like, I think you brought it up last week, where it's like it'd be really cool if like they did a promo where like, hey, I'm no longer gonna be Superman, but there's gonna be a new Superman, and like we get them both on screen shaking hands. It'd be like, cool. Like our world always needs a Superman, and it's like passing of the torch. I think that'd be really cool.
Have you ever seen the clip from the end of one of the episodes in Smallville season 2, the episode with Christopher Reeve, where it's Tom Welling and Christopher Reeve sitting there, and they're promoting Christopher Reeve, the Christopher Reeve Foundation, but they're talking and they're just bantering back and forth, and we're like, thank you, no, thank you, thank you. And I feel like that would be like a really cool thing where you get David and you get Tyler, and it's like, it's good to meet you, Superman, good to meet you, Superman, and they just shake hands sort of thing. Like, it would just be cool. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from DC going forward, is a lot of respect for different generations.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. I'd love that. Not what Flash movie
yeah not like that. Hopefully that's going to be rubbed away and we'll never hear about it again.
Kai Rex says, did you hear the CW is changing its name? It's actually no longer going to be the CW. It will now just be CW. Yeah, I saw that. I don't care much. I don't know. I've kind of I have, I think, mentally kind of clocked out of CW. Like, I fully plan once Superman Lois wraps up, I don't think I'll ever go back. Unless there's a world where Arrow comes back for a final special run or something like that. I just looking at the current lineup of CW shows, they did their new promo thing with all their upcoming stuff, and it made me so sad. It made me so depressed to see. Listen, CW was never a great network, right? Like they never were your HBO or your Netflix or your any of that kind of stuff. They've always made middle of the road content. That's kind of even back in the day. But at least they made content. At least they were making quality, and not saying what's coming up. Not to say that Wild Cards won't be a good show. Maybe it's one of the best things they've ever made. I would love that for them. But just looking at all the golf and the football and a lot of it just feels very lazy to me. Like, they didn't care. They have a Jesus show, and I don't know. It makes me sad because my whole year would just be dedicated to these shows and what's happening. And I've talked about this on here before, but there's a part of me that's almost happy I'm moving away from CW, because it's there's been I don't know, they burnt us so much. What a, I think they didn't care about their fans. They really disrespected the time and the hours that we, especially just the Arrowverse alone, not even talking about anything else. We spent so many hours and so much time dedicated to these shows, and they didn't care about us. They all were canceled, and they didn't write it well, and they clearly just didn't care about us. And I don't know. There's part of me that's kind of happy that I'm kind of stepping away and I can watch other things now. And
I feel like
also, sorry, go ahead.
I feel like what makes it even more just depressing, though, is that for years the CW was the one place that actually did care about fans. You could pretty much always count on your show being renewed. If it was going on to its second season, you could pretty much always assume it's going to get to run for as long as it wants to. They're not just going to end it, sort of thing. And then if it was any other network or places with TV, you always were a little bit weird if it was going to get renewed or not. But with CW, it was no, it's going to get renewed. And then for it to all just come back so suddenly with no, everything's cancelled, kind of felt like even more of a slap in the face than usual.
Yeah. And I mean, there would have been big plans for the future of everything if they didn't get bought out. I don't think. I think And maybe budgets would have been cut, maybe things, or I even think if you went to a smarter like company and be like, hey, we're selling you all these properties,
Yeah.
like the fact that you are selling a company without stuff, like you
Yeah.
like I feel like you buy like like a thing like this, and you're like, okay, we're buying it because you got your Riverdale, you have a Superman show, you have a Flash show, you have a Bat Family show, you have you have all these things. We have a Vampire Diaries thing that has been on the air for what, like 12 or so years, like all that kind of stuff. Like that's why you buy a network like this, and
Yeah.
you get rid of it all instantly. It's like, but what was the point? Like I don't know. I mean, you had a Supernatural show that could have gone big if you maybe let it run a little longer. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I thought Winchester's ended super well too. I thought it had a
Yeah.
really good ending that felt like a really good ending to a season that felt like it was just setting up for even cooler Supernatural tie-ins, and then
Yeah.
it felt like it was respecting the past of Supernatural as well. Like it was really cool.
I think this is very unfortunate because I think any
Yeah.
other network it would have done well. Put
Yeah.
this on like a Netflix, I think it would have been huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Or a Prime, or even like
Blown
an
up
Apple
for
TV
sure.
or something. Yeah, 100%. But CW, they didn't. Most people don't even know that show is a thing. Like I feel like
Yeah.
most of your Supernatural fans, and they wasn't promoted. I don't know. It's very unfortunate. But with that being said, we are going to be moving on to our kind of main topic today. Do you have any final thoughts on all this like Superman stuff?
I'm excited. I think a full season of Clark and Lex and Superman and Lex shenanigans and face-offs is going to be really fun. I'm hyped to see what they do. Also, I'm hyped to hear about new characters because I feel like even though we're losing a lot of the old cast members, I feel like they have to bring in some new characters. So I wonder, is there anybody big comic-wise that we're going to see get brought into the season? Plus, we got to wrap up that Doomsday stuff. So that's exciting.
Well, I'm curious how much are even gone now, because it feels like since these last couple months they've been announcing people. Wait, actually, they're still coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Sam Lane is back now, and it's like, oh wait, so he's not gone, and
And I
like
saw
Lana's
Sarah was
coming
already
back.
on set.
Lana and Sarah, and I hope John Henry. Like that's the one I'm kind of. I haven't heard anything about him, but I'm hoping at least one episode to wrap him up.
Yeah, for sure. Which maybe they're doing that. Maybe it's like one episode per set of characters,
which I think would be very smart. Like you have what, like 10 episodes, so maybe 7 of those, each one you have a different like guest star character or something. I think that'd be very smart. Alrighty, we're gonna be moving into our main conversation here, which is we're gonna be ranking superhero projects that are coming up this year. Now I was going through and I was like, there's like 23 things here. Like there's actually a lot more than I was expecting for a year that's not a lot of like MCU stuff. There's no DCEU stuff. There's no Arrowverse stuff. That's actually a first year. Like there's one MCU thing, no DCEU, no Arrowverse. Like what a year. Like it's a year of reset.
It definitely feels like a gap year sort of thing where it's like we still got some good stuff coming out, but a lot of your big franchise stuff is not this year for you.
Sure. So again, we're gonna be ranking these on how good we think they will be, and I really like the idea of maybe coming back maybe this time next year or like the end of 2024 and be like, were we right? Maybe re-rank them now that we've seen them, and kind of be like, were we right in where we put this? I think it'd be a lot of fun. So do you want me to? Should I zoom it in at all, or
I can see okay.
Let me just. There we go. Alrighty. So first up on the docket here, we have. I'm just gonna call it Agatha. And blank of blank. whatever
they call it.
Whatever it is, which I'm actually kind of enjoying at the moment. Like I think they're really having fun, just being like, it's a new title every week, which is bad for marketing, but also I think it's kind of clever when you have a character like Agatha. Like I think it's kind of a fun marketing. How are you feeling on Agatha? Are you at all excited for the show? I'm pretty sure this is one we've had differing opinions on if we're excited for it or not. How are you currently feeling?
I think Agatha is one of those projects that when it comes out, I'll probably enjoy it. But at the moment, I'm of the mind of WandaVision was 4 years ago. We're only getting it the full proper sequel to it, I guess now. Doctor Strange 2 was kind of a sequel pretty heavily, but Agatha's like the TV show sequel, and we're only getting that now. It's coming out almost, by the time it comes out, it'll be almost 5 years since WandaVision, which I think is a huge gap.
That's insane to me.
And I can't completely understand why this is one of the projects coming out this year and not
Sure.
something else like Ironheart, which I think Ironheart, we don't know what the hell's happening with Ironheart at the
Yeah.
moment, and I feel like that's a show that maybe could be a bit more interesting at the moment,
Better
coming
put out.
in
Yeah.
off out of Black Panther, which was 2 years ago at this point, and then maybe doing some stuff with Rhodey in that as well, since we know now about the Secret Invasion stuff. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Agatha for me, I'm still not sure on why that's a project.
I mean, I'm excited for it. Like, I do really enjoy her as a character. I think you can, I think they could do a lot of fun things with the show. I think how it's going to set up like Young Avengers, and I think they're going to do stuff with Wanda, and we have these grown-up versions. I think of Billy, which I'm excited for. But like I have said for a while, like as I am excited for this, if I was to get rid of one MCU project, this would probably be the one I'd get rid of. Either that or
Yeah.
zombies. I don't really care much about zombies either. Which I don't think is this year, guys. If there's any that we didn't mention here, I tried to gather everything, but if there was something I didn't mention, let me know.
I was doing a video the other day on the Marvel projects of the year, and I only saw that freshman year, or I guess it's Call Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man now, and
Yeah,
X-Men '97. They were the only two I saw
yeah,
confirmed animated for this year, and that Zombies is kind of just, it might be this year,
and the
it might be
Wakanda
next year.
show as well is also
Oh yes,
this
sorry, yeah, I forgot
year.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, but I don't even know what's going on with zombies. Like it's 4 episodes long. I feel like you could just throw it in somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, Agatha, I would say, I think for me, if I'm going to like predict a spot, I would say it's either around the C or D area, because like even if this is good, this was also made in the like we're making our shows like they're movies kind of era.
Yeah.
But maybe since Agatha is such like a low level character, maybe there wasn't as much like interference with it. Maybe they were just able
Maybe,
to make
yeah.
a fun show. I'm going to personally predict C. Where are you kind of thinking?
I'm thinking around there as well. I probably would have said D, but I'm good with it being C.
I can
I
put
think.
it in D. I don't
Okay.
have a I don't think I have a thing against D or yeah D. All right, next up we have the animated Watchmen film. Now, I don't think this is part of their Tomorrowverse, right? I think
Yeah,
this is
I think
kind
it's
of
its own thing.
separate, completely separate thing. I'll be honest, I don't know Watchmen. I haven't seen any of the movies. I haven't seen the shows. That's just a property I personally have not got into. So I'm going to completely give this one to you. Where are you kind of feeling on the animated Watchmen film?
I've read the comic.
Mhm.
I've read Doomsday Clock, which is kind of the sequel comic to it. I've seen the Snyder film, which I love, and I've seen the TV show, which I love.
Okay.
I think the movie could work in animated, but
Yeah.
unless it's like a 3-part film like Crisis on Infinite Earths, I don't know how the hell they're going to do it. Like, I think making it into a 1 hour 20 animated film could not be a worse place for
Yeah.
Watchmen to go.
Mm.
And I also like Watchmen is a very serious kind of subject matter for a comic book property. Like there's a reason it was Vertigo and not fully DC, like when it
Yeah.
came out. So I'm not totally sure if the current DC animation department can handle a project like this. Now I haven't seen Crisis on Infinite Earths yet, their version. I've seen
Mhm.
everything up to Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I don't know. I'd be a little wary of it. I mean, I think it could be cool because like
Yeah.
I think Watchmen's a really cool property. I think the story of it's really cool. But yeah, I'm not sure if an animated project by the current version of DC like animation could
Sure.
work very well. So I'd probably go E with that, honestly.
E. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, maybe I'm hoping it surprises me.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Craven the Hunter.
Oh,
Oh
I'm gonna be
boy,
so
the year.
negative on this year of films and of this year of
Oh.
comic book projects.
Oh boy. Craven I think is my least favorite of the Sonyverse things coming out.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
Like I think I think both Madam Web and Venom 3, like they have like I can see the potential in both of those. Like I don't think that they will be good, but I could see a world where like Madam Web, like wait, Madam Web's actually kind of fun. And I could see a world where like, wait, we actually tried to make something cool out of Venom 3. Where Craven, I just don't see a world. it might be fun. Like I could see maybe it's like a fun, like kind of like a like Morbius thing where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a more, like, oh, it's a silly meme, whatever. Like I don't see a world where this is good.
I'd probably put Craven in D because I feel like,
Okay.
I mean, this is completely just, I've got nothing to base this off of, but I feel like I will probably like it more than the Venom films and more than Morbius.
Okay.
Morbius, like mix up my Mobius from Loki for a sec, but yeah,
Sure.
I feel like I like Craven more than Morbius and Venom, so I'd probably go D. But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, so many films, I just don't know what they're doing.
Okay. I'm thinking about it a little bit. It is rated R, which is kind of exciting. I think that is an exciting outlet because I think a character like that can be rated R. And also they are doing Rhino, which is also kind of hype.
Yeah.
Just to get like a new live action Rhino, like that is. If this was like, am I excited for? I think it would maybe go into like a C. But I think I don't think it's gonna be good. I just don't think. I can put it in Agatha. Although I would say I'm much more excited for like the Agatha show than I am Craven. So
I would say I am as well. I mean, we can move Agatha up then if you want.
let's just kind of like look at like where everything places, and then we can move and whatever.
Okay.
Kai says Craven's an S for me. I'm very happy that you're excited for that movie. I hope you're right. I would love if all the Sony movies this year are just great.
Yeah.
Like how crazy would that be if they're just like, this is better than Captain America the Winter Soldier. Like this is like, how crazy would that be? Like it'd be insane.
Wouldn't it be funnier though if like every single Sony Marvel film is mid to bad, but then Craven is like the greatest thing of all time, is like an Oscar nominated great film of all time, but everything else is just so bad.
Marty's just like, no, he's having a fit. Up next we have Eyes of Wakanda, the newest MCU project to get announced, known as the prequel. It's like this Black Panther prequel following the Black Panthers of the past, traveling to get these ancient objects. I'll be honest, I'm actually really excited for this. This kind of sounds like a little bit more of what I want to see from the MCU. This sounds very creative. This sounds very fun. I think this is kind of what the TV stuff should be doing more of, because it doesn't really affect anything in the current MCU, but it's just on the side show that we can have fun, and it can further explore the lore of the MCU and all that kind of fun stuff. I also love that it was announced this year, and it's like, yeah, it's coming out next year. There was no wait. That's what they need to do more of. I think they need to announce it no more than 2 years in advance for a project, right? The 4, 5, 6 years that we're doing now is insane to me. Are you excited for this at all?
I would say currently I'm not excited, but I am fully expecting it to be good. Okay. I think this is a project they're probably putting a lot of care and passion into. I don't think this is going to be one of those Marvel projects that feels like it just kind of was thrown out. But I think I'll probably start getting excited when we start to learn more details on it. We start to see some stuff, but I do think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'm very curious just when it comes out as well. Maybe a fall, but there's already a lot like Agatha's are at fall, so maybe a summer thing. I don't know.
I would say maybe summer, because I feel like X-Men is supposed to be early this year, isn't it? And then Spider-Man's probably going to be after X-Men.
Yeah, maybe that's a winter thing.
Yeah, maybe
Spider-Man. So yeah, I personally either put in an A or B, just as far as how good I think it's going to be.
Yeah. I'd probably put in an A. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah. I think this might be one of the highlights. All right. Next up, we have Creature Commandos, which is one of my most anticipated on this list due to it being the first ever DCU project. Yeah. This is a big one. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the things we get out of the year and be like, okay, is this good? Is it bad? It's going to be one of the big comic book properties of the year. Yeah. How are you currently feeling?
I still personally wish this wasn't the opening of the DCU. Sure. I feel like Superman Legacy should be kicking that off, and then Creature Commando could come out a few sure. I don't know, months after it or something like that, or even start having Creature Commando come out within the few weeks after Superman Legacy. But I do think Creature Commandos will be good. I think Peacemaker's shown that Gunn knows how to do TV. So I feel like, plus they have a lot riding on Creature Commandos. They're not going to want the first entry in the DCU to be bad. They're not going to want the reviews that are the DCU is already failing or something like that. You know? So I would say I would probably put this in A. I think this is going to be good.
Yeah. I almost think S. I could almost
Oh yeah,
see. I could almost see a world where this is the best thing that comes out, and then me like next year be like, fighting off with the people who's like, it's animated, it can't be good. I could definitely see that those
yeah,
people be like, it should be like I can go with A though. I can definitely see an A. It's either S or A for me. I'm gonna be. I'm just like genuinely curious because again, yeah, I think you're right. There is a lot riding on it. There is a
yeah,
lot. Has to be good. Like, and again, I can't see a world where it's bad.
yeah,
Maybe, I mean, it might be a thing where like, hey, this one isn't for me, but it's still good.
yeah.
So we'll see. Next is Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is the sequel series to the Mutant Mayhem film that had come out. This comes out like very soon, like 2 months from now. It's very close
Oh
to
damn.
come out. Did you see the last Turtles film
Yeah,
or?
I sure did. I think I saw it like I think Ireland got a preview day of it a day before it
Mm,
came out everywhere else, and I think that's the day I went to see it because it came out it
okay,
came out
cool.
like on a Monday here or something weird
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I did see it, and I thought I didn't love it, but I've never been a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy,
Sure.
so I think that's why I think if I had more interested in the franchise, I would have liked it more. But I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know how I don't think I'd watch the sequel series.
okay.
Um, so I'll defer to you for this one completely because I
Okay.
don't think it's fair for me to say where I'd put it.
Okay. I'm really excited for this one. Like, I really like the idea of kind of using like TV shows to follow these turtles' journeys. Like, you have obviously like the mainstream line of films, but we're gonna have 2 seasons of the show, and it leads directly into the sequel, which I
Yeah,
think is a really cool idea. And again, like you literally have these kids, and I like the idea of being able to grow up with the kids as they're learning to be like full on teenagers to eventually adults. Just knocked my lamp over. But
nice. Didn't need it anyway. It's fine.
I think that this was like a mainstreaming show. I feel a little bit common, but this is a
Yeah,
Nickelodeon show. So I could see them. I don't know if the cast is coming back. I assume Seth Rogen's still working somewhere on it. Um, I'd say C. I think C
okay.
is kind of like that middle ground. Like I could see it being good. I'm not expecting anything groundbreaking
Yeah,
either. I'm also just very curious where we follow. Like I would love. I really want to see some concept for it. Like,
yeah,
is it a high school show, like them studying for math classes and like running away from principals, or is it like Krang has entered? They have to defeat Krang and get back in time for lunchtime. Like I don't know. Like I'm curious and how they set up. Maybe they might slowly set up Shredder as that's teased at the end of the movie. If we do anything with him there, we just wait. So I'll be curious. But we'll definitely wait and see. Next up, we have Joker 2. Joker 2. I'll say this up front. I think this might be the best out of these.
I was gonna say a lot of people are sleeping on this film. I think they are clearly putting a ton of work into this, and the fact it's a musical is pushing people away. But I think it's not going to be a huge hit with straight up comic book or superhero fans,
Yeah,
but I think from a movie standpoint,
film
it's going to be
fans. Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, I think S for me
yeah.
personally. I think it's going to be one of those films that's in all the awards, that's getting
Yes,
nominated for
yes.
everything, sort of thing.
Yeah, I could see this like being back at like the Oscars next year as
Yeah,
like this is pure cinema or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on that. Just I think it's going to be very, very good.
yeah.
I hope it's good. I hope like I can't see a world where this is bad. Like just like Joaquin, like I can't see a world where he came back and it wasn't what he went because he typically doesn't do like sequels and stuff like that, right?
No,
Like
generally not.
so I can't see him signing on for just like an average sequel. We had talked about this a couple of times by this point, but like I love the fact that it's going to be a musical. I think that's going to be very, very cool. I think they could do some really fun stuff here. Alrighty. Next up,
But yeah, I feel like as well, it's the only live action DC film of the year. They're not gonna.
yeah, that's true.
I feel like they wouldn't be so okay with this being the only one unless
Yeah,
they were proud of it.
yeah. Which is so crazy that both DC and Marvel are in that same spot of just like
Yeah,
one
and
potentially
both of
just
them are
one
kind of
good
like
movie.
almost Elseworlds, both because Deadpool's going to
Yeah,
be mostly inside the
100%.
MCU, and then Joker's its own thing.
100%. Kai said maybe it's a show like teenagers in the day and superheroes at night. referring to Ninja Turtles. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
that
can see
makes a
that.
lot of sense. Yeah, and I think it also works very well for them. Not backtrack, but like they do kind of suck in the first movie. Like they're not that, like, obviously they're trained, but they're obviously not the way we normally know the turtles to be, like these super
Yeah,
experts in martial art. Like they're like nunchucks. What, I don't know what to do with that. They're very I don't know, new to it all. So I think kind of getting to see that like evolution within the shows and them training more, but that's a lot of fun.
yeah, for sure.
All right, next up we have Kite Man, which is the Harley
I forgot
Quinn,
this was this year.
the
Completely
Harley
forgot this was
Quinn
this year.
spin-off show. I'm not caught up on the Harley Quinn series. I hadn't finished the latest season. Are you caught up with it? Are you kind of all
Yeah,
set for?
I'm all finished.
All right, how are you kind of feeling about a Kite Man spin-off show?
Harley Quinn kind of lost me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I really liked the first season. I don't think it's been able to get back to those highs
Sure.
since. Not into a Kite Man show, honestly. I mean, I'll watch it, but I could care less.
Sure.
I mean, this is the thing as well, though. It's like, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. It's probably not
Yeah.
going to make too much difference how I'm feeling right now.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think it's going to be bad. I'd be surprised if this comes out and it's like getting the kind of, I don't know, attention that like Velma was animation wise, where everybody was kind of
Sure.
critically panning it. I don't think Kite Man's going to get that. I feel like Kite Man might fly relatively under the radar though. I'm not expecting it to be like, oh, yeah, I meant to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like it's not going to be a show that gets a lot of coverage. That it'll be like super DC fans will watch it, but you're probably not going to hear many regular people talk about the way like Harley Quinn is pretty popular. Like I know a lot of people I know who aren't super into comic book stuff have watched the animated Harley Quinn show.
Sure.
The Kite Man, you're not going to hear a lot of people who have watched Harley Quinn or watched Kite Man unless they're into comic book stuff. I'll probably give it like a C or a D maybe.
Okay. Yeah, this is kind of one where because I had pitched like a Harley Quinn spinoff for a while. I really love the idea of doing like an office style like Legion of Doom show where it's like all like it's like very like sitcom style, because like their Legion stuff is some of my favorite stuff in this show. It's just like Bane in the break room being
Bane
like,
is great. Yeah.
No. Oh, I'd even watch a Bane spinoff. I think over Kite Man. Kite Man's a weird choice based off the trailers and just kind of the concept. It just kind of seemed like more Harley Quinn. Like it's just Harley Quinn, but with Kite Man this time, which is to me as much as I love Kite Man in the show, I think he's a great side character. But I don't care much about his own outing too much. But I'd love to be wrong. I love that this came in. I was like, wait, this is actually like back on par with like what the first season was. Because again, I like the show, but I've kind of lost interest. I've kind of been like, I think of the show, you can only do it so much until it kind of gets, all right, we're doing the same,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like a lot of those type of shows kind of fall into that. Like, again, I don't watch a lot of them, but I feel like, Family Guy fans up to a point where like, hey, this is the greatest thing ever, until it wasn't for people. So maybe that's just kind of the trend of those type of things.
I feel like it'd be maybe better to just do specials, like a couple times a year, come out with a Kite Man special, a Bane special in the Harley Quinn universe, even Harley Quinn. I'm not sure if we need to keep going seasons wise, like a Harley Quinn Christmas special or a Halloween special every few years. That could be cool.
I could definitely see that, yeah. And I think they're like Valentine's Day one was a lot of fun. So if they just kept doing those, I would be for it. But also there's part of me that doesn't want it to end either, because it is like the last of those like DC universe shows. Which is crazy, the fact to think that was the one to live. But also makes sense, because I think it's just me. I feel like most of the people who watch this show are like on TikTok and stuff. Like it is the people that view it on like, your YouTube shorts or your TikToks or
that is very true.
They do very well on there, and I think that's why a lot of these type of shows keep going for so long, because they do have that kind of coverage. I
mean, isn't Harley Quinn besides Superman and Lois, like once Superman and Lois ends, isn't Harley Quinn the only show from before last year, DC wise, that's not going to have been cancelled or ended yet?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
because I don't think has Young Justice been officially cancelled yet.
It hasn't been officially, but it is canceled.
I know it is. Yeah, it didn't come back.
Yeah, I think they they threw it under the rug, and I could see a world where maybe someday it does come back. Like maybe they're like in 5 years again, we're like, hey, let's bring it back again. And I don't know.
They could have them in the Crisis and Infinite Earths movies, but I feel like if they put any sort of effort into these movies at all, they could bring in animated stuff. But
I mean, I'd love like an Arrowverse thing in there, but like the more I think
Yeah,
about it, it's probably gonna be like, like the DC AMU, and then like
yeah, yeah. That would
DC
work.
AU, and a lot of those anime, and maybe
Adventure
like Harley
Superman,
Quinn. Yeah,
not
100%.
Harley
Like
Quinn. Yeah,
a lot of these like animated type things, Teen Titans Go, and a lot of those type of things.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
you said what, D or C?
Yeah, I would say DRC. What do you think?
I think as far as like, will it be good? I think it'll be good. I don't think it's gonna be bad. I'd
Okay,
put it in C.
okay.
Like, I think it'll be good. I just don't know if I'll love it. I guess is my only thing. All right. Next up, we have Venom 3. Venom 3 are what, our second Sony first movie
I
here.
I don't understand the Venom films. I don't get why they're being made so much.
In this comic book sphere, there's a really weird trend of films that, like, characters that have got a lot of movies over other characters is very
Yeah,
strange. Like,
it's
2
crazy.
Suicide Squad movies, 3 Ant-Man movies, 3 Venom movies. We've had 2 Wonder Woman movies. We've had more Venom than Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
We've had 3 Venom films in the last, what is this? In the last 6-7 years. When did Venom 1 came out in 2018, wasn't it? So
I think so. Let me look it up really quick.
that's 3 Venom movies in 6 years.
2018. That is nuts.
In 12 years, we've had 1 Superman movie,
1 Flash movie,
1 Batman movie. I guess if you don't count Batman v Superman as a Batman film.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was 2018. It is nuts. I think we have talked about, like, I'd love if Venom 3 was just like great. Like, if there's like, we've had 2 shit movies. Let's make this one let's shock people. Make this like a really good movie. Like, I'd love that. That'd be so cool. Yeah. And like, I think Venom is a character that can totally run their own franchise. Like, I'm not someone who thinks because their Spider-Man's not there, Venom can't be cool. Because I think Venom can be like a standalone type. Standalone type character.
Yeah,
let me get that back. But I don't know. I'm curious because we've heard rumors, right, that there's maybe a Spider-Man involved in this movie somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, still think Sony's just sleeping on so much money if they decided to bring in Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire into their Sony universe. Like, the fact they haven't done that yet is stupid. What do you mean? Madam Web, apparently Adam Scott's playing Uncle Ben is like the current rumor that's been for a while, which I think that would be so cool. I think they should totally do that. So
yeah, I mean, like, even then, it's like, well, we're gonna have a young Peter Parker in that movie, and then maybe that sets up something up, cool. Which I'd like. I don't know.
Feels like what Joker teased with Bruce Wayne, but like Joker would never go down that path, but the Sony Marvel stuff definitely could.
Yeah, and like that's also like a prequel, like that I think takes place in 2002. So you could have a Spider-Man that's what, in maybe he's 17, 18 in like a Venom 3, which could be kind of cool.
I remember a theory back when the filming was going on was that like Adam Scott was playing a Peter Parker who's come back in time to stop Uncle Ben's murder or something like that. And I was like, this could be so cool.
I'm gonna be curious. How good do I think it'll be? How good? I kind of want to do it higher because like I kind of want to give it like that hope. Like, I kind of want to give it that like benefit. Be like, maybe it's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm personally, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say F. I think Venom 1 and 2 have proved to me that they're not gonna make a good Venom film.
Oh.
Which is weird because I know people like them. Like, my friend really likes the Venom films, but I don't know. To me, they're some of the worst comic book films we're getting.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, I think they're fun. I think they're a lot of fun, but they're not they're not good. They're not good movies.
Yeah. I think Tom Hardy plays being absolutely deranged and insane really well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to put it higher, I'm good with that.
Well, I think we'll like meet inside the middle and pick a. I kind of want to just aim it higher and say like a C. And then meet in the middle with like a D? Are you happy with that? Or D or E?
D sounds good.
D? Okay.
I mean, putting on the same level as Kraven sounds pretty good because I feel like no matter what, Venom's gonna do better than Kraven.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Especially if you have like a little Spider-Man in there or something, like a small Peter Parker, like people will show up. All right, next up we have Invincible Part 2, the back half of Invincible, which Where is
Or
it? It was supposed to come out this month. It's supposed to come
I'm
back.
I'm a little annoyed that they did that. I feel like they maybe should have just held off and
I agree.
released it
Yeah.
already. I think though Invincible season 2 part 2 is going to be an S though.
Yeah.
I'm really liking Invincible this season.
I don't disagree. I really do. I mean, I was kind of okay with like the break because it kind of like reminded me of like, you know, like network TV where like they would just have a
Yeah.
mid-season break, and I thought that was fun. I do think only having 4 and 4 is a bit.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it, I was like, yeah, that's weird. Especially, like it was supposed to be back by now or like
It
about to
was,
come
yeah.
back, and we've heard it doesn't currently have a date. I was like, what happened? Like,
I've heard somebody say that it's March now. That like the rumor is March.
oh,
Yeah, which that's a big gap.
that's rough. Especially after only 4.
Yeah.
They should have just waited to March then.
Yeah.
I think.
Which that would have been a really good spring show. Like start it in
Oh, it
March,
would've
end
been
it at
really
the beginning of summer. That would have been a really good.
And actually, I think it would have
Anyways.
done better as well because, like, at the time we had both Loki and Gen V, and
Yeah.
I felt like
Yeah,
not
those
as big
Fridays
as-
were crazy.
those were like that was a really fun era having all 3
Yeah.
shows around the same time.
I did really enjoy that. Yeah.
I think having so much superhero TV at the same time was a bit like I think like Gen V kind of got like the short end of the stick there, where
Yeah.
not as many people were checking that show out over like Loki or yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be good. I thought the first half was really, really good. I think they're gonna kill it in the back half. I think we're
Their
like,
teasing episode 8 is like the best episode of the show.
and I would believe it.
Yeah,
I would believe it. Hi, Rick said, if think about it, we had an Ant-Man trilogy before we got a Superman trilogy.
Insane.
That's mad. Yeah, that's mad.
Understand it. Don't understand it. What universe is this? What Earth is this right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Kai said, I think Venom 1 was better than Venom 2.
I liked Venom 2 a little better because I felt like Venom 1 took itself a little too seriously, but Venom 2 at least kind of understood what it was. But they're still kind of similar level to me.
I think I enjoyed Venom. I don't know. I think I like Venom 2 more actually. I think. But yeah, I would agree. I think both in kind of that era, the same kind of level. All right. Well, let's just jump into our next one. Madam Web is.
I think it'll be the best Sony film.
I 100% agree.
Yep.
And comes out soon. Comes out.
Yeah, it's
what,
like
2 weeks,
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. Damn.
2-3 weeks, something like that.
I think cast wise, it's like it's got a much stronger cast than Venom, or like I feel like just out of the Sony films, Madam Web easily has the most, the highest caliber of cast. Because like Tom Hardy's great, Jared Leto's, whatever your opinion on Jared Leto is, and I feel like Madam Web at least, like, you know, Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, it's Emma Roberts, Adam Scott. Like there's a lot of like big people there.
I don't think Madam Web is going to be good, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think when it comes time to talk about it, I think we're going to have a lot of fun, like, talking about that movie and what it sets up. And I can, like, I at least appreciate that more than the Venoms and the Cravens and the Morbiuses, because at least it's Spider people. Like, at least it's using
people,
the...
And the like suits are cool.
They are cool suits. I was kind of weary the first couple shots. But like that, like new photo that had come out with like the 3 of them, I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Did you see the promo that they put out over the last week with Sydney, or not Sid, the other one, but the marketing for this movie's been really weird.
I think Sony understands that they need to go to areas that they normally wouldn't in terms of market this film because they need that.
I feel really bad for her as well because like she's known for like the like 50 Shades stuff where that's kind of how she was seen, and now she's like, I'm gonna be a superhero, this is gonna be a new thing for my, and now she's back doing that. As like, kind of feel bad. I think
they'll be great in the MCU if they were ever to start bringing them over. Like I don't know if that the Morbius credit scene with Vulture is ever going to go anywhere, but someone do with Spider-Man, I think. But if that ever goes anywhere, they could tie that in, and I think the Madam Web cast would fit in great over there.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they're going to bridge the gap somehow. I think they have to by this point. I think, unfortunately, I think they're involved with Secret Wars. Like, I think we'll see.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think Tom's Venom will like interact with the Sony Venom. I think that's going to happen.
What if Venom 3 is the same as Deadpool 3, and Venom 3 is actually in the MCU, and it's closing up the Sony universe and bringing in all the characters into the MCU? I hope not. I really hope not. What?
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of rumors with Spider-Man 4 that it's going to be a wrap up. They're going to combine them all. I was like, I don't think it will be that, and I also hope it's not that because
Yeah,
I think that will, I don't know, that would like significantly affect my hype for Spider-Man
yeah,
4.
it would as well. I would love a Spider-Man 4 that's somehow Kingpin, and it's just kind of tying all the street stuff together.
I think that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
But
Madam Web, I'd probably put in B or C. I think it's gonna just be a fun film. I don't think it's gonna be D because I don't think it's gonna be as bad as Craven or Venom. But I
no.
think it'll be a fine film. I'm not expecting anything crazy about it, but I'm thinking it's gonna be fine.
I think it'll be C. I'm thinking C, and then maybe we move Turtles around when we get there.
Okay.
But like Madam Web and Kite Man, I can kind of see it being the same level of quality. Like I could see that for sure. All right. Next one is the Megamind TV show. Are you a fan of this franchise at all?
I saw the first one years ago. But
is
there only one?
There's
okay,
only one.
okay. Well, yeah. I have seen that one.
Okay.
So long ago, I don't remember anything.
No, that's fair. I saw it once. I think when it first came to like our like local Redbox and stuff like that. Like it first came to DVD. And since then I've just seen like reactions and stuff to it. Like Blind Wave did one, I watched that and stuff like that. Do you have any hype for this at all? Or are you kinda
no? Okay. Until about 20 seconds ago, I didn't know this was a thing.
No, that's completely fair. There's been no marketing. This is a Peacock show.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And apparently it's about like him trying to become famous or something. Now I don't know. I like this world. Although I think like stuff like the like Boys and stuff like that have done it better. The superhero parody world. Like I think Boys and Invincible have done this genre better. Even though I do think it's really good. I actually think if it came out like right now, it would do a lot better than it did back in like 2010. TV show, I feel like I need to see more. I know a lot of the like DreamWorks TV shows I have not personally been a fan of. Like I think the like How to Train Your Dragons and the Kung Fu Pandas and the Trolls are not always up to quality. I don't know how much money they're putting into the show. Is it like a proper TV show, or is it kind of like, hey, we're doing a show about a character, let's put some money in, whatever, just throw it out. Like a lot of these are. I could see it going either way. I kind of want to put it in C. Okay. Kind of the middle of the tier. I don't have it could be really good. It also could be awful. Like I could see it going either way. But I mean, this movie has a big fan base. Like people have been wanting a sequel for years. I'm very happy they're doing something with the brand at least. Again, I think it was like a very like ahead of its time. Like I think it really, I think it was like ahead of like the superhero craze that we have now. So yeah. Next up we have Superman and Lois. We were talking about that a little while ago. I almost forgot about it because like I took like a bunch of the I found a whole list. I'm like, okay, here's a list of everything. I was like, wait, they're missing a couple. And Superman and Lois, of course, was one of them that they were missing. This one's I think going to be kind of interesting to like put because I think it could go either way. I think it could either be at top of the charts or very low on the list.
That's exactly how I feel. I know I'm kind of different to you on my opinion on season 2. Like if we were talking about like where we put season 3 now after seeing season 2, I'd be like, oh, I'd probably put like where I think season 3 is going to be in like D or something like that because of how disappointed I was in season 2. But then season 3 ended up being so fantastic that it's definitely restored a lot of my faith in the show and its quality. But I also feel like a reason why season 3 was so fantastic is because of the serious and real topics they were dealing with. Like it was a season of television that felt super adult for being a comic book show on the CW. But I'm also feeling like I don't think season 4 can be as good as season 3 because they're probably not going to be dealing with those sort of real topics. It's probably going to be pretty similar to like, plus with the low budget, it's going to be a different show, I feel like. I think we're still going to love the writing for Clark and Lois. There's still going to be a crazy perfect adaptation of the characters. There's still going to be a lot of emotion and heart in it. But I don't think it's going to be able to be as good as season 1 or season 3, just based off the fact that they don't have the budget now. They don't have... They can't pull from the emotions the way they have been. But I still think it's going to be good. I'd probably put it like a low A or a high B sort of thing.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to like give it that faith and like put it in like an A. Like I want to give it that. I think it's been so good to us personally. Like I somewhat agree with you with season 2, where I think it's very easily the weakest season, but I also think as far as weak seasons, that's a good, like, I think if that's the weakest of a show, then you're kind of in a good spot. Like it's
Yeah,
not that
yeah,
bad.
that's true.
I'm gonna say A and hope for the best. I
Okay.
feel like I just need to give it that. Like I think it hasn't let me down too much over the years. I think it's been
Yeah,
consistently good, and I think the crew behind the show loves this show so much to let it complete. Like again, I think a lot of it might be out of their lens. Like maybe they just don't have the
yeah,
budget to do what they're gonna do, but I think they're going to do everything in their power to make this the best final season they could.
yeah.
I
I
really do,
agree with that as well. They're gonna put their all into it.
100%. Alrighty, next up we have Deadpool 3, the one MCU project, or I guess the one live action MCU movie this year. Um, hmm. We've talked about this movie a fair bit, and I think we're both pretty darn excited for this one. How we kind of feeling on this one?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be an S quality, but I do
Hmm.
think that they're going to put as much as they can into this film. It's going to be super important. They need this to land. It's the only MCU film of the year. They need it to be good,
Yeah.
and they need it to be a big, strong return for Ryan Reynolds, for Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
They want to make people excited for seeing Ryan Reynolds in the MCU, and if they're bringing back the characters we think they're bringing back, and if they're doing the things we think they're doing, it's just going to be an important film, and they're not going to want
Hmm.
one of the more important MCU films to be wasted on a film with not great quality. I'd probably put it in A, but I mean, I
Okay.
can go S either if you feel it's an S. I just personally, I think it's probably not going to be as
Yeah.
strong like for quality.
Yeah. I think it's most likely good.
Hmm.
I could also see maybe a world where maybe it's not as good. Like
Yeah,
I could see a world where like maybe Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. Like I think Ryan Reynolds will think this movie's good. I think
yeah,
there's a world where maybe it's not as good as he thinks it is. I could
yeah.
see that world. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I could see that. I'm thinking either B or A. I can put it in A. I can see
I
it on
mean,
the level.
now you mention it, I could go B either because I'm feeling like there's a lot going on in it. It
Yeah,
might just have too much going on. It might just be a messy
I
film.
I 100% could see a world where it's messy, where maybe it's a very well made film. And again, I think Marvel and I think Ryan Reynolds, I think Hugh, they will think this is a good movie. I don't think they'll put
Yeah,
out a movie they don't think is good, but I could see a world where maybe it's not as good as they
yeah.
want it to be.
I think so as
So
well.
so we can put it in B and then maybe move it once we kind of have everything in place. Next up is a show that I'm pretty sure is coming out this year, but we don't have a date for it, and that's Creature Commandos, which has been in not Creature Commandos. I'm sorry,
Oh,
the
okay, Crusader.
Cape
Hey, oh, it's
Crusader.
CC.
Yes, very similar. The spiritual follow up to the Batman the Animated Series, Kevin Conroy's last kind of DC thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's the last thing he ever did as Thomas Wayne. This has been the people have been really hyping the show up for a while, being like they're really getting back to the heart and soul of what Batman is. It's honoring everything that passed and also making for a new future. I can't believe this is still hasn't come out. Like we thought it was going to come out last year. I assume it's coming out this year. Are you
yeah.
excited for this? Are you ready for this to hopefully
I think
come out?
I think it definitely is this year. If it's not this year, I'd be surprised because I feel like this is one of those projects as well. They're probably going to want to get out of the way before the DCU starts. So
Sure.
coming out this year makes sense. I'm not super excited for it mainly because I feel just burnt out on
Oh,
Batman
sure.
projects in general. Like with so many movies like Joker, Harley Quinn TV show, like
Sure.
Gotham Knights, stuff like that. I feel like it's just there's so much Batman content and it's always digging into his characters and his lore. I'm not super excited about the prospect of a Batman animated show that's the same kind of Batman villains that we've been seeing in animated stuff for the past few years, but I
Hmm.
do think it'll be good. I'd probably go with B
Okay.
just based off of I'm feeling about like I really like the animated series, Batman the animated series, but I definitely think like this probably isn't going to be as good as that. This probably isn't going to
Sure.
be on par with that because a lot of people are going to have high hopes on that. And Batman the Animated Series is routinely talked about as one of the best animated shows of all time. So for this to live up to that would be pretty impressive, which I think
Sure.
it might not reach that. But I still think it's going to be good. I'll still definitely watch it.
Okay. I'll be honest. I kind of think it's gonna be S.
Oh yeah, okay,
I think they're going to like live up to that, and maybe it's just all the hype that they've been saying, but it seems like they're such a great team that they have working with. Like they bring in all the comic friends and all the talent, and it feels like their main purpose is to kind of live up to what had came previously.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to do it. I really do. Now, like, excitement wise, I'm not like jumping up and down for this. I'm not like extremely excited.
Yeah.
I could see like we meet in the middle and say A as like kind of a middle point.
I'd be good with that.
Alrighty.
If you really want to put an S, I'm not really against S either. Like, I just feel like it might not live up to the expectations people have for it.
Sure. No, I could definitely see a world. I also just think like My Adventures also just was so good last year, and it made me like I think they were both kind of made around the same time. It's like kind of like since it felt like they were trying to push out like this is like a new generation for DC like content for people.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they both were set in motion, both being good, because like that would be like an A or S for me. If we were ranking them from last year.
Yeah. Should have been a Wonder Woman show announced as well. Don't know why they didn't.
I don't know why they wouldn't. That would have been so cool. Like I would have loved it if it was all like the same world, like you did Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
All super different animation stuff, or not animation, all super different like vibes and tones. Where you've got My Adventures being super light, Batman being super dark, and then when they come together, so it's like when the Defenders brought all the different color palettes in.
That'd be cool. And like, there's still people saying like, oh, they could cross over. I was like, I don't think that could happen. Like, I think that'd be really hard to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but unless it's like a multiverse thing, I think that'd be very hard. Next we have the final season of Umbrella Academy, a show that I keep forgetting's on the air. I keep forgetting the show's a thing.
There's such a gap between seasons.
I know. You're not a huge fan of the show, right? You're not a huge.
I thought season 1 was fine. I thought season 2 was fine, but I really liked season 3.
Really?
Yeah. I remember when I was watching it, I wasn't hyped going into it, and then I watched it, and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Okay. That's very crazy, because I'm the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah?
I think season 1 and 2 are phenomenal, and I very much disliked season 3.
Okay, interesting.
It took me like 6 months to finish it. I had a really rough time with the third season.
Wow, okay.
Now, to be fair, a lot of that was during COVID. Like they had, they were in COVID. A lot of things were cut. They had a hard time filming that show. And I think it's also very apparent while you're watching it. Like, okay,
yeah, sets are very sealed off.
Where are you kind of like predicting the final? It's like only 6 episodes of the final season. It's a very short final season. Where are you kind of feeling?
I think I'll defer to you on this one, because it's honestly a show that I can go either way on.
Okay.
Like, and you're much bigger Umbrella Academy fan than I am. I think you probably have an idea of where it's going to fall quality wise more than I would.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I think season 3 really just killed a lot of my interest for the show. Like overall, unfortunately. And again, like there was a point where I would have marked the show as like one of my all-time favorites. Like I really loved the first two. I think it'll be good though. Like I think there are some talented people with the show. I think they'd care about the show. It's very shortened. Like it's a very short. Like I think it's a 5 or 6 episode run. That could either be really good for it or really bad for it.
I mean, I forget a little bit, but did they have much to wrap up?
They like created like an entirely new timeline at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, I do remember that.
So
yeah, that's
maybe.
A lot.
So I don't know. I actually have no idea where we're going with the final season, and I think that's actually kind of the fun of the show, because I never know where we're going. Like they end almost every season with an entirely new timeline or a thing they have to go fix up or something. So we'll see. I'd probably put it in with C. I can kind of see it landing in C, but also I could see a world where maybe it's like a B or an A, where it's like, oh, actually, it was a really return to form for me. So I think I'm gonna put it in C. I will say up front, I kind of want to move Turtles, because I think Turtles is so blatant, like compared to everything else here. I'm kind of feeling B, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, because I think next to everyone else, I was like, I don't think they deserve. I don't think they deserve that.
Can I move Watchmen then? Because I feel like Watchmen. Sure. I don't feel like Watchmen's on the level of Kraven or Venom.
Okay, you thinking like a C for them or a D?
I think D, because I think it's a high D, whereas I would think Venom and Kraven maybe a low D.
Okay. And then we can look at the others as well once we kind of get to the end. Next up, we have X-Men 97, the revival to the 90s X-Men show. I'm currently rewatching, or I guess kind of watching most of it for the first time. And I'm really enjoying that journey. That's been a lot of fun, kind of getting to learn more about these characters that I am very fond of. Are you hyped for the show at all? Have you seen the show yet, or no?
I've seen the first 2 seasons of the
Okay,
original. Um,
attached to you then. Let's go. I
this is
just
another one I'm mostly going to defer to you though. Sorry, what were you saying?
okay. No, I just finished season 3, so I'm not
Okay,
that
okay,
far ahead of you.
okay.
Um,
But I
I'm
feel like it
good. Sorry.
for me. It's I don't think it's going to be bad. I feel like it's got a lot of expectations to live up to, and it might not.
Sure.
But I also feel like they know how important it is, and they're not going to mess that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I think. Okay. I'm gonna be here again. Again, I haven't caught up yet. I don't know how it ended. I don't know where we're going. I know some of the things that were going into the show. Will it be good? I think it will be good. I
Okay.
think X-Men, the show as a whole for me, like as much as I do like it, I don't think it's like a masterpiece either. At least looking at it from the lens of, what, 20, 30 years later. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
masterpiece. I do have my issues with the show. I think it's very episodic for me, which typically isn't my like favorite thing ever. But I think the show is very, very good. And I think it will be on par with what the original show was. Like, it just kind of seems like they're trying their very best to make it like the original, like
Yeah.
duplicate it as much as they possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when it's going to come out, because it was supposed to come out like early this year. So I was expecting February, March, April at the latest. So I hope we start marketing that soon. I know we have
That's
toys
what I
and
was
stuff
gonna
out.
say. This is one that I feel like they would want to market a lot. Like they put a lot
Hmm.
into marketing wise. Like I feel like Echo or What If, I can see why it did get a whole lot of marketing. I feel like X-Men 97, it's pretty high up on the most anticipated list for Marvel
Yeah.
projects. So
Hmm.
if it's coming out within the next 4 or 5 months, I feel like they
Yeah.
should be promoting it now.
Yeah. And I think it could be a big win for them as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like, it isn't like an MCU project. Like, this is, I mean, I think it will eventually be. Like, I think they'll merge it into like the rest of the things. But
Yeah.
this is kind of an on its own thing. And I think it's what I would like to see more of from Marvel. Like, I think I want to hope at this as well. Maybe we could do like Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Maybe we bring them back. Maybe we bring, I probably not the Spider-Man stuff, because that's that's a whole nother case of why they can't
Yeah.
do that. But bring back some of these shows that were gone, forever. Like, Wolverine and the X-Men would be fun. And
Yeah,
I
that'd be
think
cool.
oh man, I'd love that. And also I think there is a hype factor, like especially when it was first announced. Like we X-Men content's announced, like new X-Men stuff is coming.
Yeah.
And I actually think with both like Deadpool 3 and this the same year, that's very hype. Like it's a big X-Men like Wolverine type of year for them.
Yeah.
I think I'd put it in B. I
Okay.
think I don't know if it's going to be on par with the stuff of like, like your creatures and your Joker too, but I think it's gonna be good. I think they have something fun on their hands here.
Okay, cool.
Next up we have freshman year, or I guess no longer. It's your like friendly neighborhood, right? That's
Yeah,
the
I
new
think so.
marketing for it.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure which title I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's hard to remember though which one is which, because I feel like it was freshman year for so long.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it
And
though. I think Charlie Cox doing the voice is great. Sorry, what was it?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's gonna be fun. I think we haven't really had it at Spider-Man animated series in
In a
super
while.
long.
Yeah.
And I think they've got like really cool characters in it, like Nico from Runaways is in it.
Yeah.
And then having the Harry Osborn in it as well is super
Yeah.
cool. So I'm excited for that. I feel like it's going to be a cool take on like a universe adjacent to the MCU, since you have
Mm-hmm.
people like Charlie Cox coming back for Daredevil, but it's not the ones we know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I think it's going to be fun. I mean, I've never really been super into the Spider-Man anime stuff, mainly because I haven't really been watching it growing up. Like I was more into like Justice League or whatever than Marvel animated stuff growing up. But I think having like a new Spider-Man animated show would be really fun.
I agree. Yeah, and I think like just like X-Men for me, there's a hype that it's another MCU project that's, or like it's a Marvel project that isn't just the MCU, and I think that's kind of important for them. Like as much as I love the MCU, I do think there needs to be a bit of variety of like not everything needs to be this long story. You can have your X-Men and your Spider-Mans and your stuff like that on the side. And I like how it just looks like it's a comic book. Like it looks like I'm about to just like open a comic book for the first time. Like that's what it looks like to me. I like that we can explore some of the stuff that the MCU just can't because of rights. Like, we have the Harry Osborns, and I mean, Daredevil is here, and that's very hype. Like, we got some more Daredevil content. Like, I love how much they've been giving him, and how much he's been having to do recently. I think that's very fun. It's also very hard to go on because we don't know We haven't
Yeah.
heard anything outside of this like new name change for
Yeah.
a while. We've heard like people have seen it or have seen like what it looks like, and they said it looks really, really good, and that's exciting to me. I'd probably put like another B. I think
Yeah,
it's kind of
I'd
the
be good with B.
middle of the road type of thing.
I think it could go either way. Like it could be super underwhelming, but it could also
It
be
could.
like one of
I
the
can see
coolest
that too.
projects of the year. Like it could be
100%.
like for My Adventures of Superman, this for
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And it's also kind of cool how we kind of have like like these shows for like all the main heroes. Like we have a Superman show and a Batman show and a Spider-Man show and an X-Men show. Like that's really cool. I think that's and I think
Feels
that's
like the
where
90s again.
it does, and I think that's where a lot of these characters kind of thrive a lot of the time is in this medium. Like I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Next up we have the Suicide Squad anime movie.
I completely forgot about that.
I always forget that this is a thing. I'm not like a big like anime person. I haven't seen a lot of them. But it looked cool. Like the trailer they put out, I thought looked like a lot of fun. And I said if I watched anime, maybe I'd check it out. Are you excited for this at all? Are you?
I'm not into this sort of stuff either, but I wasn't excited for Batman Ninja, and then I actually really liked Batman Ninja, and I feel like the Suicide Squad thing could feel similar to that. I'd probably put in like a B as well. I think it's going to be solid enough. I feel like there's going to be some care put into it, and it's going to be legitimately good.
Sure. I will say I think I am slightly getting burnt out of like the Suicide Squad, like this kind of era. Like I feel like DC really, really, really likes this stuff, and I think that's fine. I think they're very cool. But like I think just like Harley Quinn as kind of a whole and that kind of era of things, I'm like, all right, there's another one coming out. Let's check it out. Not overly on anything. I accidentally put Superman Lois on here twice, so ignore Superman.
Whoa, season 5 is coming out next year as well.
Whoa, season 4 and 5, how cool! Next we have The Boys, show we both like. Season 4 comes out seemingly this June, it seems.
Yeah. I'm really excited to have more Boys content.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it's great. Now I've said a couple times, I think I've even said it on here before, that as I think season 3 overall is the best season. I think it's fantastic, but I'm really not a fan of how the final sort of turned everything around and like started pushing everything in directions where it's like, instead of it feeling like something that is clearly going towards its natural end, that it feels like they're spinning it off now so that they can keep it going for as long as they want. And that's sort of deflated my excitement for season 4, because I'm like, they're not going to finish with Homelander this season. They're not going to kind of push anything in any real meaningful direction, because we've got our Gen V, we've got our Mexico spinoff, we've got all these things they want to keep going. I feel like if the season 3 final was a little bit more good at ending certain things, I'd probably put it in S. But I think A. I think it's still going to be a really strong show.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might agree with that. I'm very excited. I actually don't know if Gen V has made me more excited or less excited, because
that's fair.
There's a part of me, I really love Gen V. Like there's a part of me that kind of just wants Gen V season 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
I mean, you're probably going to get half the characters in The Boys season 4.
I really hope it's just the people that aren't locked up. I really hope that's the case, because I want all of those characters still locked up by the time we get to season 2. Because I don't want a Mando type thing where if someone's just watching Gen V, they're like, wait, how'd they get out of the jail?
No, like, that's actually very fair.
Like, so I'm hoping it's just the people. Like I there's been a lot of theories like who's like Black Noir. Is it is it him? Yeah. Like, is he in the suit? Like, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and I am very excited. Like, we have a lot of new cast coming in this season, a lot of new soups this season. I think like in the US, it's election season this year, and it seems like the season's very seems like it's going to parody that in a massive way.
Okay, cool. I didn't know.
Going to be. Yeah, it's going. I think it's going to. I think we got. I don't know. I think they're going to make fun of a certain current president, and their fans, in this season. Like Homelander.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Homelander.
With the posters.
Yeah, and like the riots and the fan. Like, there's been rumors that a certain character, like Homelander, might like run for president this season. I'd be like, how crazy would that? Just theories people have had, but like, that would be kind of crazy. I'd probably put A2. I'd put A. I don't doubt The Boys. Like, I really don't. It's a
Yeah,
show
that's it.
like
It's not going to be a bad show. Like
no,
they're not
no,
going to
it's
make a
not.
bad season.
And I think like Superman Lois is kind of in the same boat for me, where like even if I have my doubts, they've given me so much good
Yeah.
year after year. Like they've given me 3 great seasons of The Boys, a great spinoff. Season 4 looks great. And same with like the like Mexico, where it's like they've given me so much great stuff. I can't doubt them at this point.
Yeah.
And until they give me something to doubt them, I can't doubt them.
Yeah. That's it. Like I feel like the show is, even if I'm not completely happy with the story directions they're taking for certain characters or for certain events, it's still going to be a really enjoyable show.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I 100% agree. 100% agree. And then lastly, we have the Penguin Max series. I guess the first kind of follow up from the Matt
Yeah.
Reeves Batman movie. This was actually supposed to come out like now. Like it was supposed to
Yeah.
be out this month. But was pushed back to fall, which I actually kind of like the fall date better for Penguin. I don't know. I think it
I think
fits that
it's like a Halloweeny sort of.
100%, 100%. Are you excited
I'm
for this
really
project?
excited for it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm actually genuinely like really in it. Because we got that first behind the scenes feature like a year ago at this point.
It looked good.
Pretty
Yeah.
crazy long, yeah, and it looks really good. I think Colin Farrell played the Penguin super well in the Batman, and the first Batman film was really good as well. And we know Matt Reeves has been all over this. Like it's gonna feel like a follow up to the Batman, just about a different character. I think it's cool. It's the Batman, the Penguin, like whatever they do next. I'm excited for it. I feel like it's going to be S. I think that they wouldn't be making
Okay.
this unless they knew it was going to be good. Because I feel
Yeah.
like Matt Reeves is kind of somebody who now he's like, I don't want anything in the Batman universe that's not going to be good. And I feel like the
Sure.
Penguin's going to be that.
I agree. I wouldn't say I'm super hyped. Like I wouldn't say
Okay.
like this is a project that I'm like, let's go. Like it's not typically my type of like if this wasn't DC, not sure if I'd want to put this on.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be perfect. I think they have cooked here. I think this whole universe, I just have a feeling that they're going to put out banger after banger, unless like there's any like interference with anything. But I think this side of DC, it seems like they have full control of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason Matt Reeves didn't want this a part of the like next DCU. I think he wants full control over everything, and I think that's very smart on his half.
Absolutely.
And I agree. I think S tier. I think this is going to be one of the best things. I think we're going to look back at this year and be like, Penguin, what a great show this was.
Yeah.
What a shock. And
which is why we're going to have like a Penguin TV show and a Joker movie coming out probably around the same time, and they're both probably going to be amazing, and they're both going to be unrelated.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have talked about this in the past, but this is a year for anti-heroes and villains. Like you have Joker, you have Penguin, you have the Creatures, you have the Boys, you have Deadpool 3, you have the Suicide Squad, you have Kite Man, you have Megamind, you have Madam Web, Venom, Kraven, Agatha, right? These are all like villains or anti-heroes. So kind of crazy. Which I feel like it's kind of crazy because I feel like a lot of people aren't fond of like that kind of storytelling nowadays. Like I feel like it's kind of looked down upon and be like, it's not fun anymore to make movies about villains and like changing their view on things. But we'll see. I hope it's a good year. Are you kind of positive about this year as a whole? Now, kind of looking at everything, or are you still very worried?
I'm worried. I think the projects that we think are going to be perfect, I'm really excited for. But in general, I think there's a lot more. Ooh, I don't know about that than usual for a new year. Like Ant-Man 3 ended up not being what a lot of people wanted, but I was really I feel like we were excited going into Ant-Man 3 like before we started hearing reviews for it, and I feel like in general there's not a lot of projects that I'm going into excited, but there's a lot that I'm going into being like, I don't know about that. I don't know why you're making that, but yeah.
Is there anything here that you would like to change? Because I think I see a couple that I might move.
I would maybe move Agatha up because I don't think it's on the level of Kraven and Venom. And
I 100% agree. Yeah, I 100% agree there. I'm also thinking like Creatures. If you're okay with S, I kind of feel like it's like I think that might be better than some of the ones we have in A.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah,
because I think James Gunn, like I think I just trust James Gunn on such a level. Like I don't think he would make the first thing of his thing any less than perfect. Like I think,
and the voice cast is great.
Voice cast is great, and then I think everything else just looks good to me. Like I can see, and it makes me happy that we don't have anything in E and F as well. Like I feel like we're like I don't think we think. I mean, I could see a world where Craven's in an F or something, but like
mean, but personally, I think Joker should be an F.
Oh no! How dare you?
Sorry.
No, and I think I think that's kind of our I'm wondering what our thing would be if it wasn't us trying to like, like I always like to look at the best in things, and I like to look at like I never want to be like this is going to be trash. Like I think there's always something. I think there's always hope in something. So I hope all these are good. Like I could see it being a year where like maybe not a lot of big hitters, but like maybe it's like more quality and less quantity. So I could see that being a thing. But yeah, that's going to be about it for us here, guys. I want to give a big thank you for Connor for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. This was a really fun one.
Yeah,
I'm really happy. I've been really happy with our return to form this year. The views have been higher than it has been in a previous. Our last stream got up to 200 views, which is
cool.
for our show, not huge. So big thanks to Eric who had come on. I think a lot of these people kind of followed us over there from that one. And Connor, what do you want to promo? What you've been kicking butt.
I've been trying to get stuff going again. Yeah, I didn't upload any today, which is like I was like I'm gonna do it daily, and then I had nothing today. But like I'm getting back into it on the channel, so I'm hyped to like hopefully keep that going from tomorrow on again. And it's been good. Yeah, view wise it's been good. Discovery season 5 didn't really do well, which I'm not surprised about because I feel like it's not Discovery doesn't interest people as much as most other Star Trek stuff, but everything else has been doing pretty well. For like the Marvel, there's been enough Marvel news that there's been enough content to make, and that's been doing well. But yeah,
it's been super cool to kind of see you back in the things, and having you on here has been a lot of fun.
I mean, it's mainly because of this. It's like being on here. It's like got me into talking about this stuff again properly.
100%. I have a lot of plans for this year for the show, and there's a lot of things. I really want to have some fun creative things because I think most of 2023 was us talking about news and new things that come out, and obviously we're going to keep doing that, but I do want to have a lot. I like one of my favorite episodes from last year was our pitch one where we kind of pitched like different DCU
that was really
projects.
Fun.
Like I would love to do another pitch type thing. We've talked about maybe like rewatching a certain franchise to do on here, which I think would be a lot of fun. Next week you're taking a bit of a break, I think, and we're doing our Ben 10 stream, which I'm very excited, guys. This is the first news in like 3 years. I'm so excited.
I'm taking a break to watch the whole franchise.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go. But yeah, no, guys, I want to give a big thank you to all that as far as content coming out. We're taking a bit of a break on like the video side of things. I'm kind of like reevaluating what I want to do over there. If I want to do videos over there, I have a couple ideas. I think I might try a couple new things, and if they don't work, I might just stick to the streams. And but also we've been posting a lot over on like the TikToks and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for all that kind of stuff. But without further ado, you guys, I will see y'all on the flip side. Bye bye.